Hello and good afternoon, everyone. We are coming to you from Promort Field at Bernlohr Stadium, the 2022 season finale for Capital Comets football about to commence as the Comets welcome in the Student Princes of Heidelberg alongside my broadcast partner, Jonathan Brown. I'm Charlie Danis. Thank you so much for joining us here on this very chilly, very cold afternoon. It's hard to believe that a couple days ago that there was a high of 72 in Central Ohio, but now we have officially entered the winter season. Temperatures will hover around 35 degrees. There were snow flurries to begin the day, but since then they have tapered off. Very cloudy skies overhead, and everybody's got the heavy jacket and the warm hats on today, but this is football weather, Jonathan.
Welcome to Ohio, and what a way to end off the season with some flurries. It sounds like a Christmas miracle. Who knows what might happen, but this is some good football weather today.
Let's go ahead and take a look at how both teams did last week. We begin with Capital, and once again, the Comets bad. The Comets were not able to get off to a good start. Down 16-0 after the first quarter. That included a safety that Capital had to give up. Touchdown pass by Marietta quarterback Connor Viestra, and a 10-yard rushing touchdown by Bryce Agnew. That's what put Capital in an early hole in that game early on against Marietta. Now in the second quarter, things kind of came alive for the Comets. Dom Glenn was able to block a punt, return it for 34 yards for a touchdown. That cut the Marietta lead to 16-7. With 9:15 left to go in the half, but from then on it was all Marietta. A 35-7 run to end the game. It was a terrific game for Marietta quarterback Connor Viestra, who went 14 of 18 through the air for 237 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. And then it was also another standout game for the leading rusher in the Ohio Athletic Conference, that being Mr. Bryce Agnew, 22 carries, 114 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns, and also a great game for wide receiver Dawson Snyder, 4 catches, 98 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But again, Jonathan, that bad habit that has seemingly plagued Capital all season long, getting off to the slow start and just not being able to dig themselves out of that big hole.
Yeah, getting off to a slow start, which puts your defense on the field a lot more, and we've seen that throughout the season where the defense is kind of having to do a lot more of the heavy load and being out on the field a lot more times, possession on the field. So looking at this, I guess the plus side is this is the only 50-point game they gave up the entire season. So that's the only positive side I can take from this. But offense has to get going moving forward, and hopefully they can figure it out today.
Ben Everson came on late at quarterback for the Comets. He went 4 of 7 for 32 yards and a passing touchdown. That going to freshman tight end Zach Combs, who has shown some pretty good spots here as of late in that Comets offense. Combs finishing with 2 catches for 18 yards and that score. But again, the inability to not get the run game going, only 29 rushing yards for the Comets in that loss to Marietta. They gave up 5 sacks, and they also went 2 of 14 on third down. And obviously a game to be played here today, Jonathan, but going forward, head coach Brian Foos, he has really got to go into the laboratory, and he's got to get this offense fixed.
All right, it's not just on the on coaching, but it also goes along with his players. But coaching takes a lot of that heavy heat, understanding that you develop the game plans that gets the team rolling. So hopefully today is senior night, so the seniors can go out with a bang here today.
And we'll talk about those seniors throughout the broadcast today. First, though, got to tell you what happened to Heidelberg last week, and boy, this was quite the wild game. This was senior day for Heidelberg, and the Student Princes, they were looking pretty good. They had a 13-0 lead entering the fourth quarter, but Baldwin Wallace finds a way to storm right back, culminating with a 35-yard field goal that was good with 20 seconds left in regulation. So with that, we head to overtime. It was Heidelberg that began the overtime period with the ball. A 3-yard rushing touchdown by their workhorse tailback Montavious Yearby gave them a 20-13 lead. So you're thinking, okay, Heidelberg has got the upper edge. Now they just got to go play some defense. Baldwin Wallace had to convert not 1, but 2 fourth downs to just keep the offensive drive going. And then on another fourth down, the Yellow Jackets, this time converting from 11 yards out, Joey Marusik to Tim Conwell. That allows Baldwin Wallace to pull to within 1. To heck with the extra point. The Yellow Jackets, pulling a Brian Kelly from a reference to how LSU was able to take down Alabama previous week. They go for the 2-point conversion. Marusik able to find Elijah Arnett in the end zone for a successful 2-point conversion. Game over. Baldwin Wallace defeats Heidelberg by a final of 21-20 in overtime. So, Jonathan, you really got to wonder what's Heidelberg's mindset heading into this game against Capital. Looking at the record for Heidelberg, middle of the pack in the OAC, doesn't look like they're going to be making the NCAA tournament. Do they get up for this game? That's a fair question.
They do get up for this game. You kind of put that game in the past and you move on. That was a nail-biter, one that they wish they could have back. But they sit in the conference right now at the 4th seed and sitting at 5-3. They started off the season pretty hot, rolling, and kind of had some hiccups in the road, but what team doesn't? And so hopefully they're going to come out here with the energy, and we can see a good game here today.
Looking at the Heidelberg offense, Drew Sims has been their quarterback for the majority of the season. He has dealt with some injuries. He got rolled up on in their game against John Carroll, which put him out for a couple of games. Comes in here with 14 passing touchdowns, 6th best in the conference, as opposed to 6 interceptions. His 1,303 passing yards, that's 6th best in the conference, and his 54.7% completion percentage, 5th best in the OAC. But the main man in the Heidelberg offense, Jonathan, is their running back, Montavious Yearby, 2nd in the conference in rushing yards with 870. He has visited the end zone 6 times this season. This guy knows how to move a pile.
You know, the senior out of Florida, he's been doing the heavy load for his team. 6 touchdowns, close to 1,000 yards. We'll see if he can eclipse that here for the final game of the season. But when you have a kind of a balanced attack here, that's a hard team to look at because they do have some solid receivers as well.
Defensively, Heidelberg, one of the best teams in the conference. Only give up an average of 14.7 points per game. That's 3rd best in the conference. But, man, Jonathan, they love the forced turnovers, as evidenced by their 14 interceptions, best in the conference, and they love to get after the quarterback. 35 sacks on the season, 2nd best in the OAC.
A player to look out for today is Zachary Blackston, the linebacker, the graduate senior, 6'4", 245 pounds out of Massillon, Ohio. He holds the school record with 40 sacks. Wow. 40 sacks for his team for Heidelberg, so somebody to look out here for today.
Coach Foos put it best. Boys aren't playing on that Heidelberg defense. Grown men are playing on that defense. A lot of juniors, a lot of seniors, a lot of graduate seniors as well. As Jonathan made reference to early on in our pregame show, today is a very special day for the Capital football program. 13 seniors honored before today's game. Aurelius Walters Jr., Andrew Everson, Justin McClellan, Lance Matthews, Sam Pickett, Trevor Harrison-Ron, Brayton Schmidt, Trey Jesse, Louis Hurston, Jonathan Williams, Baylor Aparius, Eric Noble, and Jack Blaisdell, all honored before today's game. And all the seniors are lined up near the 50-yard line. They send Jonathan Williams and Baylor Aparius out to midfield to meet with Heidelberg's captains for the opening coin toss. Our head referee today is Steve Grove. Let's see if we can listen in to the coin toss at midfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, who won the toss? We're going to receive. Heidelberg won the toss and going to receive.
So Heidelberg wins the toss. They will receive. Capital will get the ball to begin the second half. Comets come out in their purple jerseys, purple trousers with the gray and white stripe down the side of the trousers with the white helmet and the Comet logo on the side of the helmet. Heidelberg, meanwhile, white jerseys, orange numbers outlined by black, white trousers, orange helmets with the Student Princess logo on each side of the helmet, black face masks. As we mentioned, it is going to be one cold afternoon here at Bernlohr Stadium. Temperatures are going to be hovering around the 30s or so. The good news is we're not playing in a blizzard. No snow is falling at the moment, so clear conditions. It is cloudy overhead, but it is just plain cold today. Tyler Terrell will tee it up. He'll be the one kicking it away for Capital. Meanwhile, for Heidelberg, back to receive for the Student Princes will be Robert Davis. And also Montavious Yerby will be back there as well. Not often that you see a running back go back there to return kicks, but that is what Yerby is being asked to do by his head coach, Scott Donaldson, in his seventh season, at the helm for Heidelberg. Ryan Foos concluding his third season here at Capitol. We're ready for some football here in November. Terrell sends it skyward. We're underway here at Bernlohr Stadium. Ball's taken at the 6, to the 10, to the 15, and gets out of a tackle, over to the 20, and spilled finally at the 21-yard line. Some nice moves exhibited there by Robert Davis, the sophomore wideout out of Riviera Beach, Florida. And decent field position for Heidelberg to begin this game. Here's what the Heidelberg offense looks like. At quarterback is Drew Sims. Montavious Yerby will be the starting running back. Dylan Drake, the tight end. The wide receivers, Dimitri Pennick, Glenn Pearson, and Oliver Keller. The left tackle is Wally Kalinowski. The left guard is Brian Dongs. The center is Bobby Logan. Yavensky Gedna is the right guard, and James Sweat is the right tackle. 1st and 10 for Heidelberg at their own 21-yard line, going left to right to begin this drive. Sims tosses to Yerby. Yerby looking for some running room out to the 20, to the 25, and he's taken out of bounds around the 30-yard line, so this will be a really good pickup for Yerby. Again, the guy that comes in here second in rushing yards in the OAC, showing off a little bit of that speed around the corner.
I see he's got the half jersey situation going on. He is a running back ready, prepared to do some dirty work today.
Gain of 8 on that last carry for Yerby, so now it's 2nd down and 2. Heidelberg with the ball at their own 29-yard line. Sims in the shotgun with a loaded backfield. He'll take the snap. He'll look. He'll throw over the middle, and it is caught. That is a catch out to the Heidelberg 48-yard line. Nice grab that time by Pennick. He was falling down as he made the reception. A big first down there for the Student Princes. The Capitol defense looks like this. The defensive ends are Jesse Foster and Ricky Scott. Defensive tackles, Jack Blaisdell. Linebackers, Jalen Anderson, Quentin Gem, and Griffin McKinney and Cyrus Burton. The cornerbacks, Louis Hurston and Quincy Edwards. And the safeties, Baylor Aparius and Tanner Wallenberg. And a little pitch, and that play is not going to go anywhere, as it was a pitch to Jaron Curtis, the senior tailback out of Massillon, Ohio. They were trying a little pitch back there in the backfield as Sims took the snap, but Capitol reading that play very well defensively.
Jesse Foster almost had the TFL in the backfield. A great job with the defense to rush to the ball and help him out there.
No gain on that last play. It's 2nd down and 10. Heidelberg at their own 49-yard line. Sims taking the snap. It's a play action. He'll look downfield. He'll throw downfield, and it is incomplete. The intended target on the play was Montavious Yerby as he was doing a wheel route coming out of the backfield, but there to defend the pass was Tanner Wallenberg, junior defensive back out of New Lexington, Ohio.
That was a good job right there. Just got to turn your head around. That could have been a pick. Great job to get the deflection and the stop. Brings up 3rd down.
13:27 to go in the first quarter. Heidelberg with their first offensive possession of the game. They have it 3rd and 10 at their own 49-yard line. A 4-wide receiver set for Sims, who is in the pistol. Yerby still out there as his tailback. Nearly got the defensive line for Capitol to jump that time, but they were able to get back. Now Heidelberg changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Sims takes the snap. Back to pass. Surveys the field. Scrambling to his right, and he'll be taken down. Back at the 38-yard line.
Stir fry. Whip up the pot. Jesse Foster right there with the sack. He didn't get that TFL, but a sack sounds better on the stat line.
Freshman defensive end out of Mount Vernon, Ohio, and we have seen him flash a time or two this season. I think Coach Foos has got himself a good young player in Jesse Foster.
And that right there just gets some motivation and momentum swinging for the offense. Offense is about to come out here. You got to respond now. Get this game started.
Parker Smith out to punt the football away for Heidelberg. Meanwhile, Aurelius Walters Jr. is standing at his own 22-yard line, ready to receive this ball for the Comets. The punt is away. A high wobbly kick. Walters will take it at the 21. Makes a couple of men miss to the 25, and he will boot scoot it out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Might spot him at the 31. Decent return right there for Walters Jr. And now the Capital offense will come out onto the field. Here are their starters. At quarterback, Trevor Harrison-Ron. At running back, Drew Engel. The wide receivers, Eddie Thomas, Bennett Zerby, and Aurelius Walters Jr. The tight end is Zach Combs. The left tackle, Tyler Schmeckel. The left guard, Brady Kuhn. Center, Damian Loya. Right guard, Ken Gonzalez. Right tackle, Garrett Anderson. Starting out at running back is Jonathan Williams. Comets have it, 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line. 12:33 to play in a scoreless first quarter. Harrison-Ron will hand to Williams, and Williams will try to move the pile forward. He'll get a couple on the play as he'll advance the ball to the Capital 33-yard line. The Heidelberg defense looks like this. The defensive linemen, Tyler Turek, Cole Bibert, and Jared Evans. The linebackers, Darren Davis, Parker Smith, Zachary Blackiston, and Easton St. Clair. The cornerbacks, Joseph Norris III and Tremont Wiley. And the free safety, Griffin Pendry. The strong safety, Ruldy Periolus. Gain of 2 on the last play as Drew Engel will now check in at running back at 2nd down and 8. Capital at their own 33. Harrison-Ron with a pass out to Engel. Catch made, but immediately spilled at the 28-yard line. That was terrific defensive pursuit that time by Dominic Davis, junior defensive back out of Canal, Winchester, Ohio.
That was a good job just following his man and followed the screen and read it perfectly on the defensive side here. Now we're in a 3rd and long situation right here. You're going to see Harrison-Ron. We're going to see him sling that arm. We'll see what he can do with the ball here. Got a nice wide out. I like this matchup on the outside with Mike Elmore.
3rd down and 12. Capital at their own 29-yard line. Harrison-Ron in the shotgun at a 4-wide receiver set. Williams the tailback. Harrison-Ron back to pass, looking, scrambling, and taken down back at the 25-yard line. That pocket immediately collapsed, bringing him down on the play. Tyler Turek, senior defensive lineman out of Bloomville, Ohio. And now Capital has got a punt.
That pocket collapsed quicker than somebody in some quicksand right there. Got to give Harrison-Ron some time to be effective. It brings out special teams and a quick 3 and out.
Back to receive the punt for Heidelberg is Joseph Norris III. He's a junior defensive back out of Lorain, Ohio, standing at his own 38-yard line. Awaiting the kick from Tyler Terrell, and the snap is over everybody's head. It will roll out of the back of the end zone, and that is going to result in a safety. And that is not going to make anybody happy on that Capital sideline. That was well above the head of Tyler Terrell and had no chance of catching up to that ball. And just like that, an early 2-0 lead for Heidelberg, and they get the ball back here pretty soon.
That's some miscommunication right there with the long snapper and your punter right there. Don't know how you get it all the way up there. It could be the weather that's an implication in this factor here, but a little deja vu. Last week they started off with a safety, and now you start out this game giving some free points to your team. Not how you want to start, but it's far from over.
10.5 to play in the first quarter, so Heidelberg now with a 2-0 lead following the high snap that resulted in a safety. And now Terrell will have to kick this ball away. He will kick it from Capital's 20-yard line. Heidelberg will have returners move up to their own 20-yard line. Same guys, Yearby back there, along with Robert Davis.
Tyler Terrell on the kick.
Terrell, right-footed kicker, making sure everybody's lined up, and he is ready to go. He'll send it skyward. And this is actually a good kick. Back to the 17, now up to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, and taken down at the 36-yard line.
Looked like the ball came loose at the end there, but it was picked up by his teammate.
Robert Davis was the guy with the original return for Heidelberg, and the Student Princes able to dodge a bullet right there as they were able to recover it. And they will now take over. 2-0 lead for the Student Princes with 10:23 to play in the first quarter. And, boy, if there was ever a time for the defense to stiffen, it would be right here. If anything, you want to be able to get that momentum back on your side.
Well, now the Student Princesses are going to try to swing and run their offense from now. They got an opportunity here to get things going, but the defense is stopped here.
1st and 10 for Heidelberg from their own 26-yard line. Pass caught by number 17, Shane Treharn. graduate senior out of Canton, Ohio. Decent pickup on the play all the way to the Heidelberg 42-yard line, leading to a second down and 6. And now Heidelberg going with some up-tempo. Yearby with a carry, and he is cut down in the backfield, knifing his way in, making the stop for Capital. Freshman linebacker Griffin McKinney out of Massillon, Ohio.
That's a great TFL right there. Brings up a nice little 3rd and long situation.
So now it's 3rd and 9. Heidelberg at their own 37. 4 wide receiver set. Sims in the gun. He'll take the snap. Back to pass. Pressure bearing down on him. He'll scramble. He'll throw. And it is incomplete. He had number 14, Glenn Pearson, graduate senior out of Cleveland, Ohio, wide open. But the former Benedictine product out of Cleveland not able to make the catch. And Capital dodges a bullet right there. A punting situation upcoming here for Heidelberg.
We see some flags thrown on the plays. That was actually holding on Heidelberg, so Capital's going to decline that, bring out the special teams unit. Hopefully the offense can come out here and get another opportunity here.
So both offenses haven't exactly gone off to the swiftest of starts for both Heidelberg and Capital, as Walters lets this one bounce. He'll now take it at the 15. Scrambling back and eventually thrown out of bounds around the 17-yard line. So Capital's offense coming back on to the field. Of course, Capital still looking for its first win of the season. Looking to avoid a fate that unfortunately has befallen plenty of college football teams throughout the years. There were 9 teams that went winless during the COVID season of 2020 at the Division I level alone. The last Division I team to go winless pre-COVID was Akron. That was back in 2019.
Well, we did it in 2019 as well.
First down and 10. Capital at their own 17-yard line. Trevor Harrison-Ron with the handoff. And a little bit of running room right there, but not that much. As that's a minimal pickup right there for Drew Engel, redshirt junior out of Lorain, Ohio.
Coming in for him right now is Troy McCleary, the young freshman out of Punta Gorda, Florida.
McCleary has definitely shown some flashes, and I think the main thing for him heading into the offseason is hit that weight room, young man. Once he does that, I think he's really going to be an impact player for this Capital offense. Second down and 10, following the no-gainer by Engel. Man put in motion. Harrison-Ron will take the snap. He'll fake it to Engel. He'll now run up the middle, and a lot of running room right there for Harrison-Ron. He's right at the first down marker. First down for the Comets at the 28.
I think that formation is actually impressive when they have the dual backs, especially with Engel and McCleary in the backfield. You don't know who the ball is going to, and that right there, we just seen a clear example of Harrison-Ron using his legs, and he's capable of using his legs to get the dirty work done.
So now it's first down and 10. The ball spotted at the Capital 27-yard line as we tick close to 8 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. 2-0 lead for Heidelberg. Harrison-Ron in the shotgun. It's a straight-up pass, a throw, and dropped at the 28-yard line. He was trying to get the ball to Jamal Wiggins, sophomore wideout out of Zanesville, but Wiggins not able to hold on to the ball. It will go down as an incomplete pass.
We'll just say it's that weather or it's them gloves. Either one. Got to catch that. As a receiver, you touch it, bring it in.
Second down and 10. Capital at their own 27-yard line. Trevor Harrison-Ron, the graduate senior out of Canal, Winchester, Ohio. He used to play college football for Heidelberg before coming over to Capital. 2 receivers to the near side. McCleary still in it, tailback. Harrison-Ron will take the snap. He'll hand to McCleary. McCleary trying to pick his way through that Heidelberg defense, and he's only able to get 1 yard on the play as he'll be brought down at the 28-yard line. Tackle made on the play by Joseph Norris III.
It was hard. As a running back, you're trying to look to see which hole, but the play is designed to go towards a specific way. You just got to trust your offensive lineman and flow in the direction that it's supposed to move in. If you see an opportunity to cut it and bounce back, that's a different story, but you just got to trust your offensive lineman. We talked about Harrison-Ron using his legs earlier on that last third down play. He actually leads the team in rushing yards with 236 on the season.
Third down and 9. Capital at their own 28-yard line. 4 wide receiver set. Angle back into tailback. Harrison Rod takes the snap. Back to throw. A lot of pressure. Throw incomplete. And a flag is now going to be thrown at the Capital 45-yard line. It looked as though that Jamal Wiggins was interfered with while running his route down the middle of the field. I would suspect that this is going to be a pass interference call on the Heidelberg defense. And initial signals from the refereeing crew down there signaled that it will be.
That is a nice bailout situation to get the ball moving for Capital right here.
And boy, man, Harrison Ron had to take a shot at the end of that play right there. He was dealing with a lot of pressure from that Heidelberg front.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
So a 15-yard penalty is called by our head referee, Steve Grove. They'll move the ball to the Capital 43-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Comets. 7:11 remaining in the first quarter. Early 2-0 lead for Heidelberg. Trevor Harrison Ron in the shotgun. 3 wide receiver set, 2 to the near side, 1 to the far side. He'll take the snap. Looking. Immediate pressure. Caught. Somehow bringing it off of the carpet was Zach Combs making the tackle. But, man, once again, that pressure by that Heidelberg front is brutal.
So what I'm seeing here is that they're doing a nice rotation of selling as if they're bringing 4 and dropping a linebacker and bringing one in the blitz. So it's hard to adjust that last-second adjustment as an offensive lineman. You already identify who you have, but when you have that quick adjustment, somebody coming off the edge or coming down the gap, it's hard to pick them up.
2nd down and 11. There was a loss of 1 on the play following the catch by Combs. And now a throw over the middle. Caught at the 45, inside the 40, inside the 35, all the way down to the 29-yard line. Nice catch, and then run after the catch by Mike Elmore, Jr., out of the Gem City of Dayton, Ohio. A big first down for Capital, but oh no, Elmore is down. And now the training staff for Capital comes out to examine Elmore, 6'3", 195-pound junior. Attended Dayton Early College Academy before coming here to Capital to play collegiate football. He's now lying on his back. And, boy, you really hate to see that. We've seen Elmore make some big plays in the passing game this season. And, oh, boy, that does not look good. He is not putting – well, he's having a tough time putting in pressure. It looks as though on his right foot, as he has to be helped off the field. Hopefully he's okay. But a big play nonetheless in the Capital passing game that time as Harrison Ron had just enough time to find Elmore over the middle.
Yeah, he had just a brief split second, and he found his target and trusted it in Elmore's hands. What a great pickup right there, and that puts him in Heidelberg's territory. So hopefully he gets treated well, and Capital, you can figure out a way to push it into the end zone.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Capital. First time that they have entered Heidelberg territory. Ball spotted at the Student Prince's 29-yard line. Harrison Ron in the shotgun in a 3 wide receiver set. Angle the tailback. Harrison Ron takes a snap, rolls to his right. He will throw. It is incomplete. He had Aurelius Walters Jr. on the far sideline that time, but just a little too much loft on that pass. Incomplete.
Too much sauce on that pass. He saw it, eyes lit up, and just a little too much heat on that throw right there. You just want to try to move the ball. You're approaching red zone territory. Regardless, if you can move the ball, you get a field goal and put you up in the lead here. So just want to figure out a way we can move the ball forward.
2nd down and 10. Capital still situated at the Heidelberg 29-yard line. 4 wide receiver set. Harrison Ron taking the snap. He'll now run with it, and he can't get past the initial line of scrimmage. He'll push forward for a couple of yards that time, but, man, if he had just had a little more of a crease, that would have been more of a sizable game. As it stands, he'll only go down as a gain of 2 on the play. So now that sets up a 3rd and long situation as the ball will be spotted at the Heidelberg 27.
We say Harrison Ron leads the team with rushing yards, and he's only played 7 games as far as the season. So there's an interesting stat line for a quarterback who's not known to really use his legs as much.
Harrison Ron in the shotgun, 4 wide receiver set. 3rd and 8 from the Heidelberg 27. Harrison Ron takes the snap, trying to get out of pressure. He does, inside the 25, inside the 20, and he'll barrel his way down to about the 15-yard line. First down for Capital. He felt pressure. He got out of the pocket. Big first down for the Comets.
Good job of the quarterback who knows how to use his legs, and he uses that to his advantage. Another key third down situation. Harrison Ron using his legs to move the ball forward and picks up a first down.
1st and 10. Ball now spotted at the Heidelberg 15-yard line. We take under 5 minutes to play in our opening quarter. Heidelberg up 2-0. But Capital now knocking on the door. Harrison Ron once again in the shotgun. Drew Engel, his tailback on his right hip. 4 wide receiver set. 2 receivers to each side of the field. Engel put in motion. Now Harrison Ron back to throw. Passes intercepted. Or did it hit the ground? It'll go down as an incomplete pass. Stepping in front of the pass defensively for Heidelberg was Zachary Blackiston, the graduate senior out of Massillon, Ohio. But the referees deemed that ball to hit the turf before he was able to make the catch. So a big break there for Capital. Instead of a turnover, it's 2nd and 10.
It was an errant throw right there, just low and not really putting it where the receiver can get it. DB did a good job of jumping that, and the referees called it as it hit the ground. So brings up 2nd down here.
Harrison Ron once again on the shotgun. A receiver to each side of the field. Drew Engel, the running back. And now the give is to Engel, and he will push forward. Inside the 15, they'll mark him down at about the 12-yard line. So that'll be about a gain of 3 or so. And now another key 3rd down situation.
Like I said, you don't want to, in this situation, you just don't want to take a loss of yards here. Figure out a way to move the ball forward. Regardless, you're leaving here with some points.
At the very least, give Tyler Terrell a chance to knock it through the goalpost. But first things first, 3rd down and 7. Capital at the Heidelberg 12-yard line.
Look at that matchup on the left side. Eddie Thomas out there.
Harrison Ron takes a snap, and he'll give to Engel. And Engel able to make some moves inside the 10. He'll take it down to about the 9-yard line. Kind of surprised that Capital went with a run play on that particular play. Do they trot out Tyler Terrell now for a field goal try? It's 4th down. 3 yards to go. Ball spotted at the 8-yard line, and the offense is going to stay on the field.
You need to call a timeout here and figure out what you want to do here and don't try to rush anything.
Well, it looks as though that they're not going to be calling a timeout here. I think they want to run a play. Harrison Ron will set up in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his right. McCleary checks in at running back. Here's the snap. Ron throws. McCleary makes the catch. Dives towards the pylon. Did he make it there? No. They'll say he will go out of bounds. Let's see here at the 3-yard line.
Good job of picking up at the first down, though.
And that's the key right there. Fresh set of downs. Actually, they will mark the ball at the 1-yard line. Tremendous catch by McCleary. And then having the presence of mind of knowing the yards to gain.
Looks like Foos is wanting to pick up the tempo here.
So now Harrison Ron will be in the shotgun. I'd be very surprised if they put this ball in the air right here. And now they're pausing because Heidelberg was trying to make a substitution, but the play clock was running down almost to 0.
You had an opportunity to catch the defense off guard right there, and you're enough players on the field. Heidelberg's trying to make a substitution here.
So now a timeout taken by Capital as they will talk things over here. 2.5 to play here in the first quarter, a 2-0 lead for Heidelberg. Well, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Capital looking to avoid going winless today. Did a little research. These were the last teams to go winless in each of the Power 5 conferences pre-COVID. In the Big Ten, Illinois went winless in 1997. In the SEC, very first year that Lou Holtz took over South Carolina, they went winless in 1999. Duke was the last ACC team to go winless. That was back in 2006. Kansas was the last team to go winless in the Big 12. Then again, they had a really, really rough stretch before Lance Leopold was able to pull things together for them this season. And finally, the last team in the Pac-12 to go winless, the Washington Huskies, 2008. That was the last year for Tyrone Willingham as head coach of the Huskies.
Well, learn something new every day.
Yep. The Capital looking to get a win here today against Heidelberg. Here on Senior Day. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Harrison Ron in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. He'll hand. Williams trying to drive towards the goal line. Is he able to get in? No. They'll say he'll be short. Boy, he was trying to drive that pile right there, Jonathan, but just wasn't able to punch it in.
Got to put them shoulders down and just run. I know it's hard in there. That's the trenches right there. And then when you're inside the 5-yard line with the goal line, the interior offensive line and defensive line battle. This is a 2nd goal here.
And you know Jonathan Williams is thinking, man, just give me one more chance. Give me one more chance. 2nd and goal. Ball still spotted at the 1-yard line of Heidelberg. The give once again to Williams. Williams trying to punch his way through. Did he get in?
He
No.
got it that time. Now what? Oh, hey,
Oh, boy.
Now what? Wait, well, I don't know what the rest of the scene there, but it looked like that ball crossed the line right there.
So, boy, so far Capitals had 2 cracks at it and haven't been able to punch it in. Boy, I'm right there with you. I thought he had crossed the goal line that time.
I'm doing it again.
So now it's 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Aurelius Walters Jr. will check in as one of the wide receivers, but I'd be shocked if they put it in the air at this point.
Do not throw we have seen that. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl. Learn from that. Run it right here.
Harrison Ron once again in the shotgun. 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. He's going to roll to his right. He will throw. It is caught. Touchdown. Aurelius Walters Jr. makes the catch.
What a play right there. Harrison Ron rolling out to his right side, finding Aurelius Walters with a nice low flat, able to get inside for a touchdown right there.
Boy, and we were saying that we would be surprised if they threw the ball. They did right there, and they come up money.
Hey, a win is a win, and they got that touchdown right there. A phenomenal drive right there by Capital.
Tyler Terrell on for the point after. Snap back, hold down, kick is on the way, it is up, and it is good. 53 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter, and how about this? Capital with a 7-2 lead in a season where Capital has gone off to bad start after bad start. They're in good position to end the 1st quarter with a lead, which we haven't said all that much here in 2022.
In the 1st quarter, actually, to get their first touchdown within the first touchdown of the game, actually, but being able to get it here done in the 1st quarter, a great job of use of time, taking that time in possession of that quarter, moved the ball down. They did have some questionable long 3rd down situations that they bailed out by flags, but Harrison Ron was able to use his legs, and shout out to that catch by Mike Elmore that set them up to get them in Heidelberg's field position.
So now Capital in unfamiliar territory. It's not often that they've had a lead. How are they going to respond with a lead? And there's still a lot of ball game left to be played.
Their defense has been holding up very well, and I don't expect them to bend at any moment just yet. Momentum is in Capital's favor right now.
So Terrell will tee it up once again. Once again, back to receive for Heidelberg is Robert Davis and Montavious Yerby. Ball sent skyward. Yerby will take it as 14 to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, 40, 45, out to midfield into Capital territory, all the way down to the Capital 40-yard line. Montavious Yerby with a big return right there. Big response for Heidelberg after giving up the touchdown. Aurelius Walters Jr. with the 1-yard touchdown reception, and now excellent field position to begin this offensive drive for the Student Princes.
That is not a way you want to respond after that touchdown. Special teams letting up a big game right there by Yerby right there, and we'll come back out here. We'll see how Heidelberg can respond here on the offensive side on Capital's territory.
So now it's 1st down and 10. Heidelberg at the Capital 36-yard line after a tremendous kick return by Yerby. Sims will take the snap. He'll hand to Yerby. Yerby with the hole inside the 30, inside the 25, trucking his way all the way down to the Capital 21-yard line. The second leading rusher in the OAC, Montavious Yearby, with a big run right there. A first down for the Student Princes.
32, Bernlohr carries.
The clock is winding down, but they are pushing pace.
First and 10. Ball spot at the Capital 20-yard line. Yearby with the carry inside the 20, dashing his way inside the 15, all the way down to the 13-yard line. Yearby feeling it a little. And now the up-tempo continues here for Heidelberg. It'll be 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3. Sims with the snap, the hand to Yearby. Yearby with a big hole, trying to elude some tacklers inside the 5, all the way down to the 1-yard line. Boy, it has been the Montavious Yearby show on this particular drive. Started off with a kick return, and now Heidelberg will have it all the way down to the 1-yard line. That's the final play of the first quarter. An eventful first quarter, but as we head to the second, Capital with a 7-2 lead over Heidelberg. This is a presentation of Capital Comets Football on athletics.capital.edu. Let's start up action in the second quarter. Capital leading Heidelberg 7-2, but the Student Princes immediately knocking on the door. They have it at the Capital 1-yard line. Yearby in the backfield. Sims, the quarterback. He takes the snap. He'll hand to Yearby, and Yearby will walk into the end zone. That's a touchdown for the Student Princes. It started with the kickoff return, and then run with Yearby. When you have a workhorse like that guy, I'd be handing him the ball a lot too. Touchdown, Student Princes.
That's touchdown, number 7 for him on the season. And to end off that first quarter, he's already had close to 50 yards rushing so far. And that's just the first quarter. And what an opportunity he had just to get momentum swinging for the Princess. After that special teams return, and they just trusted him to get them all the way to the end zone.
Brandon Steckel on for the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. 14:58, 2 seconds into the second quarter. It is Heidelberg 9 and Capital 7. Now, you may be wondering, why is it 9-7? Well, Heidelberg with a safety to begin this game. It was an errant snap by Capital's long snapper that went over the head of Tyler Terrell on a punt attempt, rolled out of the back of the end zone. That gave Heidelberg an early 2-0 lead, but Capital able to respond. Aurelius Walters Jr. with a 1-yard touchdown reception from Trevor Harrison-Ron. That came with 53 seconds to go in the first quarter, but now Heidelberg back on top thanks to the rushing touchdown by Yearby. It's been a weird yet interesting game so far.
What we just seen in that drive, let alone Heidelberg trusting Yearby to do what he's supposed to do. And they just trusted him to push them all the way down. And we saw in that split 30 seconds in the first quarter. They started on Capitals around their 40 and were able to push it to the 1-yard line in the span of 30 seconds. That just shows you they were that fast-paced, no-tempo offense right there.
Quick strike indeed. Back to return for Capital is Aurelius Walters Jr. and Dom Glenn. Steckel will send it skyward. And Walters Jr., who scored the touchdown, will take it at his 13 to the 20, to the 25. And he will be ushered out of bounds around the 30-yard line. And now a flag is going to be thrown. Looks like unnecessary roughness is going to be going against Heidelberg as now snow flurries are starting to come on down here at Bernlohr Stadium.
That is a nice little momentum boost for Capital. Getting some good field position.
from the spot. First down.
I believe he said number 29. If that's indeed the case, that was junior defensive back Lane Pickard out of Mayo, Florida. So now it'll be 1st and 10. The ball will be moved up to the 47-yard line after the penalty against Heidelberg. Wind starting to pick up a little bit here at Bernlohr Stadium, but not too much. Trevor Harrison-Ron, meanwhile, fresh off of that touchdown drive that was culminated with a 1-yard touchdown reception by Aurelius Walters Jr. He'll take the snap, play action, throw over the middle, and it is incomplete. Boy, had to really thread the needle on that one as E.J. Ormond, sophomore wide receiver out of Zanesville, Ohio, was the intended target on the play. He's lucky to be getting up after being sandwiched by a couple of Heidelberg defenders.
That was a tight pass right there. Almost had the completion, but that second safety coming down laid a hit on him.
So now 2nd down and 10. Capital at their own 47. Receiver to each side of the field. Engel the tailback. Harrison-Ron, the quarterback in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. He'll hand to Engel. Engel trying to push it forward, and they are going to give him, looks like, the 49-yard line. So that'll only be a gain of a couple on the play for Engel. And now a 3rd and long situation. And boy, how many times did you see Trevor Harrison-Ron, particularly on that last offensive possession, come through via his legs? This might be another opportunity for him to show off his mobility.
I just want to note out just last play right there, a great effort by the offensive lineman, Tyler Schmeckel, finishing the play all the way through and just laid on top. The ref had to come over him. You can't pancake him like that, but hey, we need some more. Give Harrison-Ron some time.
So now it's 3rd down and 8. The ball spawned at the Capital 49-yard line. Man put in motion. Harrison-Ron back to throw. Looking, caught over the middle, and it is going to be a couple yards short of the 1st down as Justin McClellan, senior tight end out of Bidwell, Ohio, made the catch. They're going to give him the Heidelberg 44-yard line, and it looks like Capital is going to go for it here. Offense will stay on the field. A receiver to each side of the field. Engel still in at running back. Trevor Harrison-Ron waiting for the play to come in. Still plenty of time on the play clock, 20 seconds and counting. He'll now relay the message to the offensive line, shouting out instructions to everybody else.
What's the pressure?
4th and 1. Capital at the Heidelberg 44-yard line. And it's a run play. And he'll pick up the 1st down. Had to get to the 43, gets to the 42-yard line. Nice run by Trevor Harrison-Ron and a 1st down for the Comets.
That's a great job by Harrison-Ron using his legs. We have seen him use his legs this game, and he has been getting Capital out of tight situations, 3rd and long, and right there you're trusting your quarterback to pick up those a short yard, and you got a fresh set of downs there.
1st and 10. Ball at the Heidelberg 41-yard line. 13 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter. A 9-7 game in favor of Heidelberg, and now time has been called.
Some of the wind knocking down the markers.
So they'll get that situated as the Comets go to their sideline. Talk things over with head coach Brian Foos. Now they're back onto the field.
So now you're back here in Heidelberg territory. Past the 50. Time is on your side. No need to rush, but love to see what we can do here to move the chains forward for another touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 41. Harrison-Ron trying to run with it, but boy, he is met with a wall. He's able to get out of it. Boy, he took an initial hit, but it was able to fight forward to the 39-yard line. Great toughness exhibited by the graduate senior quarterback Trevor Harrison-Ron on that play as he's able to pick up a couple.
You know, it kind of bounced him out. Using that strength right there, Harrison-Ron, and bouncing it out. Harrison-Ron, he comes in at 6'2", 220 pounds. So he's a nice, solid quarterback, you could say.
2nd down and 8. The ball spotted at the Heidelberg 39-yard line. 3 wide receiver set. Harrison-Ron takes the snap. He'll hand to Engel. Engel trying to find some running room, but man, he's met by a brick wall of Heidelberg defenders. Leading the charge defensively for Heidelberg was Kingston Mabata, junior defensive back out of New Albany, Ohio.
That brings up another 3rd down situation.
3rd down and 9. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line. At the very least, you want to be able to pick up some yards to at least think about going for it on 4th down.
Give him time.
5 wide for Capital. Harrison Ron with a snap. Throw, it is caught. Caught at the 25-yard line. Wow, what a catch. Made over the middle by Dom Glenn, junior wideout out of Twinsburg, Ohio. Lost the helmet, but he made the catch. That's the most important thing. 1st down, Comets.
What a crucial catch right there. And shout out the offensive line, giving Harrison Ron time to step up into the pocket to make a deep, low throw. And phenomenal catch right there by Glenn.
1st and 10. Capital keeping this drive going. The ball now spotted at the Heidelberg 24-yard line. 3 wideouts. Harrison Ron joined in the backfield by Jonathan Williams. Now the give is to Williams. Williams plowing his way forward, and he'll take it to about the 22-yard line. That'll only be a gain of 2 on the play for big old Jonathan Williams, 5'9", 225-pounder from Ellesmere, Kentucky.
It's a good job picking up just a couple yards here.
Ball now spotted at the Heidelberg 22-yard line as we tick under 11 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter. 9-7 in favor of Heidelberg. Capital moving the ball very well on this offensive drive so far. 3 wide receiver set. Play action. Harrison Ron lofts it up. It is caught! Caught at the 2-yard line. Did he leap into the end zone? Yes!
What a catch!
Touchdown! Sam Pickett. I thought Sam Pickett initially had gone out of bounds at the 2-yard line, but he found a way to keep his body in bounds, lunged into the end zone, and that's a score for the Comets right there.
Called him up top. Great catch right there by Sam Pickett, getting up, showing those hops. You know, they say the movie White Men Can't Jump, but he showed them hops right there and leaped into the touchdown right there.
What a play made by the 6-foot senior out of Milford, Ohio. Capital back out in front. Tyler Terrell now on for the point after. Snap back, hold down, kick is on the way. It is up, and it is good. 10:39 remaining in the 1st quarter. Capital 14, Heidelberg 9. So after the Yearby Express on that previous drive for Heidelberg, Capital with a very nice response offensively.
We called back, and they called back with a nice touchdown. Great throw by Harrison Ron. Just threw it up there where his receiver could get it. And that was just a muscle and pure leap and bounce right there from Pickett. And Pickett was able to get inside for a touchdown.
It'll officially go down as a 22-yard touchdown reception by Sam Pickett. Able to reclaim the lead for Capital, 14-9 in favor of the Comets with 10:39 to go in the second quarter. And boy, compared to some of the games that we have called earlier this year, Jonathan, this is refreshing. This is fun.
We're seeing the offense move the ball. Like, they're not in a rush to do what they're supposed to do. They're taking their time. And they did it right there, driving the ball down the field. Now you ask your defense to make a crucial stop here. You know who the ball is going to, Yearby, as he's back there to return this kickoff.
Yearby, along with Robert Davis. Davis, a sophomore out of Riviera Beach, Florida. Terrell will send it skyward. And they're keeping it away from Yearby. It'll be taken by one of the upmen at the 25 to the 30 to the 35 to the 40, all the way down to the Heidelberg 47-yard line. So they tried keeping it away from Yearby, but still great field position. That was a good return by Jaron Curtis, the senior out of Massillon, Ohio, played his high school ball at Perry.
Sets up the Heidelberg with good field position here, near the 50-yard line of midfield.
1st down and 10. Heidelberg at their own 46-yard line. 10.5 to play in the 2nd quarter. Capital leading Heidelberg 14-9. Drew Sims, the quarterback for the Student Princess. He'll take the snap. He'll hand to Yearby. Yearby to midfield into Capital territory before he is finally taken down on the play at the 47-yard line. Looks like Louis Hurston made the tackle on the play for the Comets.
Well, there's no hesitation. You know where the ball is going to. And let's see if defense can figure out a way to stop this.
2nd down and 3. Ball spot at the Capital 47. Yearby with another carry. Yearby this time Dragged down around the 45-yard line. Making the tackle on the play was Jesse Foster, freshman out of Mount Vernon.
Already has him a sack on the day.
And now, third and short situation upcoming here. 3rd and 1. The ball spotted at the Capitol 45-yard line. Yerby still in at tailback. Sims in the pistol. 3 wide receiver set. Yerby with the carry, and he'll pick up the first down, but hold on a minute. A flag was thrown in as Yerby taken down on the play at the 40-yard line, but a flag thrown back near where the line of scrimmage was at.
Bring it back, bring it back.
That is a holding penalty on the offensive line of Heidelberg. So instead of picking up a first down, the ball will now be spotted back into Heidelberg territory, back towards the Student Prince's 45-yard line. 3rd down and 11. Sims with a 4 wide receiver set. Yerby at running back. And a man jump for Capital. This will be a free play. Sims down the sideline. It is incomplete. And now another flag has been thrown as now Louis Hurston looks like will be flagged for pass interference. So an offsides penalty on somebody on the defensive line for Capital, followed by another pass interference. They'll probably take the pass interference call, accept that penalty since that's a 15-yarder rather than a 5-yarder for the offsides penalty. We'll have to sort out here for head referee Steve Grove.
You get the team backed up.
So they will take the pass interference penalty, 15 yards, and an automatic first down for Heidelberg.
Had them backed up, 3rd and long situation, and now you give them a fresh set of downs into your own territory. Just a errant mistake on the jumping off sides and the pass interference, but make up for it.
1st down and 10. Heidelberg at the Capital 39 after the penalty. Yerby with the carry, and this time Capital's defense doing a nice job of bottling him up. Boy, we keep on calling Jesse Foster's name a lot today. Also Quentin Gim, freshman linebacker out of Fairfield, coming up to make the play defensively for the Comets.
I just love when I see your defense, they all rush to the ball. It's not just one person. You want to see that pursuit as a defense to get and attack the ball, and they did that rush around in Yerby.
Gain of 2 on the last play, 2nd and 8. Heidelberg now at the Capital 37-yard line. Sims with a 3 wide receiver set. He'll go back to throw, and it's incomplete. Boy, there was some major miscommunication on that play right there. The closest receiver was Dimitri Pennick, graduate senior out of Palm Beach, Florida. But Pennick did a little curl. Sims was expecting somebody to go a little farther up the field. In the end, Capital will take it defensively. 3rd down and 8. Heidelberg at the Capital 37. Sims will now change the play at the line of scrimmage. There was almost another offsides penalty called against Capital defensively that time. Sims now ready. He'll take the snap. Play action. And it's incomplete off the hands of Pennick. There defensively for Capital was Louis Hurston. And now it's 4th down. Heidelberg kind of in no man's territory right here.
It looks like they're not going to bring out the special teams unit, and they're going to lead their offense out there.
Well, let's see if Capital's defense can rise to the occasion here. 4th and 8. Heidelberg at the Capital 37-yard line. A 4 wide receiver set. Yerby in at tailback. Sims will now look to the Heidelberg sideline for some guidance here as they'll change the play. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Yerby on Sims's right hip in the gun. Sims back to pass, deep drop. He will throw, and it's caught at the 20-yard line. A bullet of a pass that time by Sims as Heidelberg is able to convert on 4th down, making the catch. Oliver Kellerer, the senior wideout out of Hobe Sound, Florida.
And it looks like Heidelberg is starting to push the pace a little bit again.
1st and 10. Heidelberg at the Capital 19. Sims with the carry to Yerby, and Yerby picks up about 3. He'll take it to the 16-yard line.
Tackle by Capitals 97.
Jesse Foster There's that man again making the tackle on the play for Capital defensively. We're ticking close to 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Capital with a 14-9 lead, but once again, Heidelberg driving down the field. Sims with 4 wide. He'll hand it to, no, it's a play action. Pass complete to the 15. Getting out of a tackle inside the 10 and picking up a first down for Heidelberg is Glenn Pearson, graduate senior wideout out of Cleveland.
To 14, Glenn Pearson.
The linebacker missed that tackle right there, but what we're seeing from Heidelberg has only thrown the ball 8 times and has completed it 4 times, and that was their 4th completion right there from quarterback Sims right there. And they're trusting Yerby in this situation. You're in the red zone. A nice little play action to catch him off guard here, but I expect him to hand the ball off to Yerby again.
First and goal. Heidelberg at the Capital 6-yard line. Hand to Yerby. Yerby goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Heidelberg. Second rushing touchdown of the day for Montavious Yerby, the 5'10", 165-pound senior out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. Business as usual right there for Heidelberg as they go back on top. And we continue to go back and forth here at Bernlohr Stadium.
All because of that nice catch. That was a catch set up by Oliver Keller, the wide receiver senior, out of Ho Sound, Florida.
Steckel with the point after. High snap, but Steckel still able to kick it through. 7:21 to play in the second quarter. Heidelberg 16, Capital 14. Easily the most entertaining game that we've had to broadcast so far this season. It's been a good back-and-forth affair between the Comets and the Student Princes.
No, I love to see Capital respond once again. Don't bend, don't fold. Defense is doing their best. It's hard when fatigue starts to creep in when you're on the field for that long. But now, offense, you can take the full 7 minutes to move the ball down the field, and we'll see what you can do here. Special teams, if Aurelius Walters, who's going to be set to return this, can set them up with good field position.
Taking a look at some scores around the OAC here real quick. Under 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Marietta leading Muskingum 14-6. Mount Union only up 10-0 over Baldwin-Wallace with 6:25 to go in the first half of that one. And meantime, the game that started at noon, boy, John Carroll was putting an absolute thumping on Otterbein at the moment. 8:19 to go in the fourth quarter. It's John Carroll 62, Otterbein 7. Steckel to kick off once again. Back to return for Capital, Aurelius Walters Jr. This time Don Glenn is going to take it at the 13, to the 15, to the 20, and he'll eventually be taken down at the 21-yard line. It's been a good day offensively for Capital so far. Trevor Harrison-Ron, 8 of 12 through the air for 77 yards. A couple of passing touchdowns as well. Of course, he had the receiving touchdown by Aurelius Walters Jr. to get them on a board. And then Sam Pickett on the last offensive drive, scoring from 22 yards out. And now an injured player on the field for Heidelberg.
That's Dom Glenn as well, limping over to the side.
And that's not what Capital needs, as Elmore's already dealing with an injury of his own after making a tremendous catch on a key drive early on in this game for the Comets. Injured player for Heidelberg comes to his feet, and he's ready to go, trying to hype up his team as he heads back to the sideline. That was Isaiah Kammer, junior defensive lineman out of Cleveland, Ohio, former Valley Forge product. So now it'll be first down and 10. Capital at their own 21-yard line. The offense has been able to move the ball against Heidelberg today. 39 rushing yards, 77 passing yards so far. Harrison-Ron is in the shotgun, and he'll hand to Engel. Engel will run forward, and he's going to be met with a wall of Heidelberg defenders. Chief among them, Darren Davis, senior linebacker out of Canal Winchester. He'll go down as a no-gainer on the play, 2nd and 10.
95, Bennett Roberts.
Ball still spotted at the Capital 21-yard line.
No gain, 2nd and 10.
Harrison Ron will set up shop in the shotgun. Engel still the tailback. 3 wide receivers set. Harrison Ron will take the snap, play action, throw over the middle, and it is picked off. It was popped up in the air, caught by Zachary Blackiston. And Blackiston ultimately taken down at the 28-yard line. Good old-fashioned tip drill right there.
I was waiting to hear his name and called it at the right moment right there, being able to get a tip drill interception for his team, and it'll bring out Heidelberg's offense right back. Not the response you wanted from Capital. You wanted another kind of response, but brings the defense out back again, and hopefully they can get a stop.
6:31 to play in the second quarter. Heidelberg looking to add to its 16-14 lead over Capital. Great field position coming off of the interception by Blackiston. The ball will be spotted at the Capital 27-yard line. Sims will set up in a loaded backfield. He's got Yearby right behind him and 2 players flanking him either side of him in a pistol-like formation. Play action. Pass is incomplete. Trying to make a spectacular catch that time was Dimitri Pennick. But no, he was not able to pull off the OBJ.
That ball was in the air for a little too long, but love the effort for him trying to still keeping his eyes on the ball to try to bring it in. Tip drill right there. DB's got to stay aware.
Now it's 2nd and 10. Heidelberg still at the Capital 27-yard line. 2 receivers to each side of the field. Hand to Yearby. Yearby able to burst through the initial line of scrimmage and then take it about 3 yards after that. Dragging a couple of tacklers with him. He'll take it down to the Capital 22. Setting up a key 3rd down situation. 3rd and 5 for the Student Princes.
Wouldn't be surprised if they do it again.
Sims in the pistol. Receiver to each side of the field. Sims trying to get Capital to jump off sides with that clap, but Capital able to hold their water, and now Heidelberg will change the play at the line of scrimmage.
Watch James Curtis come off the edge here.
Sims takes a snap. Play action, throw over the middle, incomplete. The intended target on the play was Dimitri Pennick, who's had a tough day trying to catch the football for Heidelberg. And now decision time for head coach Scott Donaldson. Will he go for it? Will he not go for it?
He's going for it again. Remember, they had a 4th down situation back here earlier that led for their touchdown drive. What is this situation for them? Another situation, you got 5 wide out.
4th and 5. Ball at the Capital 22. 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. As boy, that wind is really starting to pick up now. Sims takes the snap, back to pass, and he swore back at the 34. Jesse Foster has been a one-man wrecking crew defensively for the Comets. Heidelberg turned away, but oh no, a flag was thrown back at the 33. Don't tell me this is going to be roughing the passer.
Don't tell me it's taunting. It looks like it'll be on Heidelberg.
Here's Steve Grove, the head referee. Taunting against Heidelberg. Microphone not working, but we were able to read the signs that time from down on the field. Whew. The way that flag was thrown right there, I was thinking, oh boy, they're going to flag Jesse for roughing the passer that time. And you know how subjective that call can be. But it'll go down as a sack. And after the penalty assessed against Heidelberg, Capital will now begin with possession of the ball at their own 49.
That is momentum in the right direction for Capital right there. 2 sacks on the day for Jesse Foster, the young freshman, doing what he has to do to help his team out here, generating pressure on Sims. And now you're close to the midfield right here for Capital. About 5.5 minutes left to go. I'll put it in the end zone.
Change at quarterback for Capital. Ben Everson enters the game. Everson taking the snap. It's a play action. And he's going to be sacked back at the 41-yard line. Boy, that was an avalanche of Heidelberg defenders that time as Cole Biebart, senior, out of Zanesfield, Ohio, able to make the play in the backfield. That's a loss of 7.
Questioning this change at quarterback. Typically, we'll see Everson come in when it comes to maybe run formation types, but it looks like Everson is staying in here. So one of the questions is just what's going on with Harrison Ron. Hope everything is all right.
Loss of 7 on the previous play. 2nd and 17. Capital at their own 42-yard line. Let's see if the O-line can give Everson a chance here to make a play. And now he's going to run with it. And he's got room. Midfield, 45, 40, 35, all the way down to the 31-yard line. Man, Ben Everson, it's like he was shot out of a cannon that time. First down, Comets.
Right there, Everson using his legs, quick and shifty.
And
he is.
Speaking of Everson, he's now down. Boy, we have seen our fair share of injuries for both sides today. He's lying flat on his back right now. Now, luckily, we do have Trevor Harrison Ron. As far as we know, he's not hurt. At least I don't think.
He's on the field right now, but Everson gets back on his feet. Just shaking up right there. It's a hard thing as a quarterback to transition to that slide. They don't teach you that when doing drills, but able to use his speed, and he put his body on the line to pick up as much yards as he could for his team.
So after the big run by Everson, 1st and 10, the ball will be spotted at the 32-yard line. Boy, scrambling by the quarterbacks. How big has that been for the Capital offense today?
Quarterbacks know how to use their legs and using them to pick up big gains to move the chains. You got to do what you got to do as a quarterback at the helm.
Trevor Harrison Ron back in at quarterback for Capital. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Comets from the Student Prince's 32-yard line. 2 receivers, Engel in at running back. They will hand to Engel. Engel across the 30 down to about the 29-yard line. So this will be a pickup of 3 on the play for Engel. As we are rapidly approaching 4 minutes to play in our first half. Heidelberg 16, Capital 14, and boy, it'd feel mighty good if Capital found themselves ahead of Heidelberg at the half. Plenty of momentum heading into the second half if that were to happen. But first things first, they got some business to attend to here. 2nd and 7, Comets at the Heidelberg 29. 2 receivers. Jonathan Williams checks in at running back. Man in motion. They give to Williams. Williams, little stutter step, and he'll pick up a couple. He'll take it down to the 27-yard line.
Just a few yards, about
Bringing up a 3rd down.
3rd and manageable.
3rd down efficiency has been a lot better today for Capital. They have gone 3 of 6 on what many people consider the money down. They now face a 3rd and 4 from the Heidelberg 26-yard line. They go with 3 wideouts, 1 to the near side, or 1 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Williams and Engel both in at running back. The give is to Engel. Engel with a nice run, and he'll pick up a 1st down. Just went straight ahead that time, needed the 22, got to the 22, 1st down Comets.
Move the chains right there. You said money down, and they went to the bank and picked it up.
So now it's 1st and 10 for the Comets. Ball spot at the Heidelberg 22. Comets have 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half, by the way. Again, a 3-receiver set. Harrison Ron will set up in the shotgun. On his left hip, Engel. On his right hip, Jonathan Williams. Play action. Harrison Ron lofting it. It is incomplete. Intended target on the play was Mike Elmore. Good to see him back out there on the field after he suffered an injury earlier in this game. Tried the old-fashioned jump ball there, but Elmore not able to bring it down.
He's known to typically bring. He'll substitute out.
Coming in for Capital is Justin McClellan, senior tight end. 2nd down and 10. Capital at the Heidelberg 22. Trevor Harrison Ron will give to Engel. Engel inside the 20, fighting his way forward, down to the 18.
Good hole right there created by the offensive line. And just a nice gap where Ingle could get through.
2:17 and counting. Capital not in any real hurry here offensively. They want to leave as little time as possible on the clock for Heidelberg. So now it's 3rd down and 6. Ball spot at the 18.
Clearly here in 4th down territory, but wouldn't be surprised if they do it again. Mike Elmore on the left side.
Williams in at tailback. Harrison Ron in the shotgun. He'll roll to his right. He'll throw to the end zone. Incomplete. Boy, oh boy. He had Aurelius Walters Jr. open, but overshot him just a tad. Now decision time for head coach Brian Foos.
It's 4th down territory. You got to go for it.
Well, no, it looks as though that the kicking team will come on. So Tyler Terrell will be tasked with trying to give Capital the lead here in the late going in the first half. Minute 44 to play. Heidelberg leading Capital 16-14. Ball spotted at the 18-yard line. This is well within Terrell's range. Snap back, hold down, kick on the way. It is good. Capital by 1, following the field goal by Tyler Terrell. 17-16 with a minute 39 remaining in the first half.
And just like that, Capital is back on top.
That's got to feel really good for Tyler Terrell as well. So a minute 39 left to play here in the first half. Heidelberg set to receive the ball, and they have all 3 timeouts remaining. If you're Capital defensively, it's got to start with stopping Yerby.
And that's what they're going to do here, and hopefully it starts on special teams. We've seen whether you kick it to Yerby or you kick it to his teammate Robert Davis, they know how to move the ball after getting the kick return here. So special teams make a stop here.
So Yerby will be back there to receive. Also joining him back there is, looks like Monte Gilliard. Gilliard, a freshman running back out of Mayo, Florida. Tyler Terrell is ready to go. Capital hoping to end this first half on a good note. Terrell kicks it ahead. Yerby will take it at his 7, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, out of bounds around the 35, and a flag is thrown.
Clear holding. I'm going to put my money on number 0 for Heidelberg.
Jaron Curtis, at least according to our roster.
Clear hold. That was a...
And there are plenty of coaches on the Capital sideline saying that it was indeed a hold. So it was indeed a hold against Heidelberg.
Holding on the receiving team, number 0. 10-yard penalties, following the foul. First down.
Jaron Curtis, the Massillon, Ohio native, penalized on that play. So a longer field to work with here for Heidelberg as they will start at their own 25. A minute 31 remaining in the first half. Capital clinging to a 17-16 lead. Sims with a 4-wide receiver set. Sims back to pass, deep drop. Now he's being swarmed, scrambles to his right. It is caught at the 35. Now the ball is loose. The ball is loose. And Capital is able to pick it up. Here comes Louis Hurston the other way to the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Cuts back, 15. Trying to evade a tackler, finally taken down to the 14. But hold on. A lot to sort out here. Dimitri Pettick down on the field. He is injured. And then there's a flag thrown back at the 43-yard line. Actually, now they move it up to the 40.
Louis Horston right there trying to show he got a little juke moves in him. A little change of direction, almost taking it to the apartments.
An important penalty right here. Will the base stand for Capital? Will they have an opportunity to score once again before the end of the half? And meantime, big storyline for Heidelberg as Dimitri Pennick, their top wide receiver, is down. He is just now being helped off of the field, and he's having trouble making his way to the Heidelberg sideline. Let's now hear from our head referee, Steve Grove, as he continues to sort out the situation down there on the field. Grove is walking, looks like towards the 40-yard line. Here's the call.
After the change of possession, blindside block on the receiver. 15-yard penalty. Still Capital's ball first.
Okay, so it is Capital's ball. The interception will stand, but there was a blindside block during the return by Hurston.
That was definitely a fumble. Pickett took his 1-2 steps with making a football play, and he got hit. He hit a wall, and that ball was jarred loose. Hurston picked it up, tried to swing it all the way across from the right side all the way to the left side, and was stopped short. It looked like if he would have beat that one more defender, he would have had a touchdown, but great job by the defense making a stand. That is some momentum swinging in Capital's way right now, and now you got about a minute left to go down and try to put some points to extend this lead.
And 2 timeouts to work with as well. 1st and 10 for Capital at their own 45-yard line, and boy, this is being handed to them right now. Can they take advantage of this opportunity? Harrison Ron in a 4-wide receiver set, back to pass. He's going to air it out. Aurelius Walters Jr., and it's incomplete. Making a great play on that ball defensively for Heidelberg was Griffin Pendry, senior defensive back out of Perrysburg, Ohio. Boy, if he does not make that play, Walters is going to the house.
Walters had him beat using his speed right there. Just needed a little bit more air underneath that ball, and that would have been right on the dot to Aurelius Walters, but still plenty of time left, and I trust Harrison Ron to sling it again.
2nd and 10. Capital still at their own 45-yard line. 1:03 remaining here in the first half as Capital is looking to tack on more points to their 17-16 lead over Heidelberg. Harrison Ron will hand to Engel. Engel with some nice running room. He'll take it out to midfield. That'll be a gain of 5 on the play. And clock is continuing to tick. Under 50 seconds now. Harrison Ron trying to get the play in here, but boy, precious seconds are running off the clock here. 42 seconds, 41 seconds. Harrison Ron is putting his palms up saying, well, what? Now a 4-wide receiver set. 32 seconds and counting. Harrison Ron finally takes the snap. He'll throw it picked off at midfield. Making the interception is Kingston Mabata, and he's going to go all the way to the end zone. A pick 6 for Kingston Mabata, the junior defensive back out of New Albany, Ohio. Just when you think Capital can add to its lead, Heidelberg retakes the lead.
We're right to him. And in that situation right there, you talked about Harrison Ron and confusion on the play right there. Precious seconds were ticking off. And the 2-minute drill situation, you should know, have a set list of plays that you would call in this situation. And you said they had 2 timeouts remaining. If you had that kind of confusion, use a timeout. And they rushed it, and it leads to a pick 6. And Heidelberg will take possession of the lead.
Remember, this is a Heidelberg team that came in here leading the OAC in interceptions. They love to pick off passes. And now, with that pick 6 and that good extra point, it's now a 23-17 lead for Heidelberg with 19 seconds to go here in the first half. Still 2 timeouts remaining for Capital, but just not enough time to get anything done here offensively, and kind of a bitter pill to swallow considering that for the most part you played a very good first half, particularly offensively. Your defense was flying around, but you're still going to go into halftime trailing.
Yeah, that's just one that you want to have back right there. You know, you had 2 timeouts. You didn't have to rush it. You had a turnover. Momentum was swinging in your way, and after that little handoff, you should know what your next play is, and that's just confusion right there from play calling in the quarterback realm. Getting the play late and pressure. The defense was able to set up and got pressure to him, and that pressure led to an interception. So, you know, it was still a good first half. It's not that many bad things to take away here. It's still a close possession game, a 1-score game. So, You know, you go into halftime with some sense of momentum that game is still within reach.
Coming up at halftime, we will examine the stats from this first half, as well as check scores around the OAC and around Division I football. That's all coming up on the halftime show. In the meantime, Aurelius Walters Jr. and Dom Glenn will have a chance to return this one for Capital. Instead of the ball going to them, they will pooch kick it to Jonathan Williams. To the 35, to the 40, now to about the 43-yard line. You got 15 seconds to work with. You're trying for your first win of the season. I would hope that Capital at least gives Trevor Harrison-Ron a chance to air it out here and probably throw one up towards the end zone.
I wouldn't be surprised at that. You said 2 timeouts remaining.
Or try to give Tyler Terrell a chance to kick a field goal here and try to inch a little closer to Heidelberg.
First and 10, Capital on their 44-yard line.
Ball officially spotted at the Capital 44-yard line. And Ben Everson will come out at quarterback.
Wouldn't be, I don't know if he'll use his legs here or his arm.
3 wideouts. Everson with the play action. He's going to bomb it deep, and it is caught! No, incomplete.
Stepped out of bounds.
Catch was made by Eddie Thomas, but he wasn't able to keep his feet in bounds. I like the play call. I like the aggressiveness right there. It's just that weren't able to execute it in the end.
I took 7 seconds off. I say you do it another deep throw one more time. If you're able to get it out of bounds quickly, try to set up for a field goal here.
So now 2nd and 10. Capital with the ball at the own 44-yard line.
The Comets did a good job of giving Everson time right there to make that throw.
3 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far side. Back to passes Everson, and Everson is smacked back at the 35-yard line, and that is how the first half will end. Boy, he got brutalized right there by Zachary Blackiston. And now both teams will head to halftime. At the half, the score, Heidelberg 23, Capital 17. Coming up, we'll get you caught up with scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference as well as some scores at the Division I level, and we'll examine the stats for the first half as well. Again, the score, Heidelberg 23, Capital 17. This is Comets Football on athletics.capital.edu. Halftime here at Bernlohr Stadium, and it's been an interesting, fun one between Heidelberg and Capital. Heidelberg leading the Comets at the moment by a score of 23-17. Later on, we'll check out the stats and tell you the scoring summary from that first half. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and check some scores. First, around the Ohio Athletic Conference. Boy, it was a brutal beatdown today, as John Carroll put a thumping on Otterbein by a final of 62-7. John Carroll expected to make the NCAA tournament, and another great game was turned in by their star quarterback, Joe Collins. 14-21 through the air, 2 passing touchdowns, 287 yards, and just one of those situations where Otterbein just ran into a buzzsaw, as Otterbein finishes the season at 2-7. John Carroll, meanwhile, 7-2 entering the postseason. Elsewhere, around the OAC, they have gone to halftime at Muskingum. Marietta leading the Muskies in that one, 21-13. How about this? At the half, at Baldwin-Wallace. Yes, the Yellow Jackets have not scored any points against Mount Union, but they're holding the Purple Raiders to 17 points. Only a 17-0 score in favor of Mount Union in that one. And a game that just got underway, that kicked off around 2:30 or so. Ohio Northern out 2, a 7-0 lead over Wilmington with 5:04 remaining in the first quarter of that one. Let's now check scores around Division I football. Boy, there was a lot of talk, especially here in Columbus. Everybody was worried that, what's wrong with Ohio State? They can't whoop up on 1-7 Northwestern. I think the Buckeyes are just fine. Second-ranked Ohio State leading Indiana 49-7 with 13:07 left to play in the fourth quarter, as they look to be well on their way to their 10th win this season, remaining undefeated. Elsewhere around Division I college football, fifth-ranked Tennessee trying to get back on the winning side of things after falling to Georgia last week. They lead Missouri 49-24 with 1:19 to play in the third quarter. Meanwhile, seventh-ranked LSU, fresh off of that big win over Alabama, they are having trouble against Arkansas. They are up by 3, 13-10, with 6:38 to play in the fourth quarter of that one. Boy, that'd be a massive letdown for Brian Kelly and his crew if they weren't able to get the win over Arkansas in that one. 8:47 left to play in the fourth quarter. 20th-ranked Notre Dame looking for their 7th win of the season. They lead Navy 35-24. Illinois, meantime, tied with Purdue. That game is headed to overtime at the end of the fourth quarter. It's tied 21 apiece between the Fighting Illini and the Purdue Boilermakers. And finally, 24th-ranked Kentucky leading Vanderbilt late 21-17, 4:22 to play in the fourth quarter. Here are the games for the rest of the day in Division I football. The 3:30 time slot looks like this. Third-ranked Michigan will play host to Nebraska. Ninth-ranked Alabama, they'll look to get back to the winning side of things when they travel to take on 11th-ranked Ole Miss. 10th-ranked Clemson plays host to Louisville. 14th-ranked Penn State will welcome in Maryland to Happy Valley. 16th-ranked North Carolina State will play host to Boston College. And 17th-ranked Tulane will take on 22nd-ranked Central Florida. And then later on this evening, number 1 Georgia travels to Starkville, Mississippi to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. A top 25 matchup between Pac-12 teams, as 6th-ranked Oregon plays host to 25th-ranked Washington. 19th-ranked Kansas State will go to Baylor at 7:30. Big tilt in the Big 12 as 18th-ranked Texas will play host to 4th-ranked Texas Christian. 15th-ranked North Carolina goes to Wake Forest. At 8 o'clock, 23rd-ranked Florida State will head to Syracuse to take on the Orangemen. At 10 o'clock, 13th-ranked Utah plays Stanford. And at 10:30, 12th-ranked UCLA will play host to Arizona. Well, this is our last football game of the season. There's still plenty of football left to be played at the Division I level. But, Mr. Brown, I ask you, by the time we get to Selection Sunday, by the time we get to figure out who is going to be making the college football playoff at the Division I level, give me your top 4 teams.
I got you here. We're going number 1, Georgia. I don't think they're falling anytime soon. The Buckeyes are handling their business, staying at the number 2 seed. It's the 3 and 4 that kind of puts questions in there, but I think Michigan is going to stay at 3 and handle business with Nebraska. But it's going to be a tough matchup today for TSU to get their business done against Texas. And I don't know if they can stop B. John Robinson with the run game. However, they're undefeated for a reason, so I feel like we're not going to see no change in the top 4 today.
Do you think Michigan has a legit chance to make the college football playoff even if they lose to Ohio State?
That is a tough one because Tennessee has one loss as well. So if Tennessee can bounce back and hopefully make it into the SEC championship, and if they can win that, that's a tough matchup right there.
Well, here are my predictions. So I think that you're right. I think nobody's stopping Georgia. The defending national champions, particularly in that win over Tennessee, look very, very strong. I don't see anybody knocking them off. I think they're going to be your number 1 overall team in the playoff field. It's going to come down to that Michigan-Ohio State game. One of those 2 teams is going to be making the college football playoff. And I know I'm an Ohio State grad, so you might know like which way I'm leaning, but I just think that Ohio State's a little more explosive offensively. I think their defense is very much improved from last season. The game this year is in Columbus, a place that Michigan has not won since the year 2000. I've given Ohio State the edge. Ohio State's my number 2 team. I am a believer in TCU. I know a lot of people have knocked Texas Christian this year for constantly falling behind, but the main thing is they win. They got an explosive offense. If they make their way past Texas, I give them a very good shot at winning the Big 12 and staying undefeated. They're my number 3 team. That number 4 seed, that's going to be very interesting to discuss, to try to figure out at the end of the season. The number 4 team I'm going to put there is Oregon. Aside from their season opening loss, which was a blowout loss to Georgia, they have steadily improved throughout the season. I have them winning the Pac-12. That would give them an edge over teams over Michigan, over Tennessee that wouldn't even get an opportunity to play in their conference championship game. So I would probably have the Ducks sneaking in at number 4. What do you think about that?
I'm kind of a little shaky on Bo Nix this season. You know, he transferred from Auburn, and I haven't really seen that explosive side of him that we've seen glimpses at Auburn. He's doing what he's supposed to do, but it's not what we expected. You know, we into that transfer portal. So, yeah, Oregon could be a great candidate, especially coming from the Pac-12, but it's not an easy road. And today they have a in-conference matchup versus Washington, and that see if they can handle their business.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Still plenty of football left to be played, but there'll be plenty of discussion, I'm sure, as we rapidly approach Selection Sunday for the college football playoff. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats from our game. We begin with the team statistics. 6 first downs for Heidelberg, 11 for the Capital offense in that first half. Passing yards, just about dead even. Heidelberg 78, Capital 77. Total offense, Heidelberg 121, Capital 147. Total yards of offense on the day. Other statistics of note, penalties. Heidelberg 5 of 65, Capital 2 of 25. Possession time, Capital 20 minutes and 45 seconds, Heidelberg 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Third downs, how about this? Capital 4 of 9, much, much better compared to what they have done this season. Heidelberg has yet to convert a third down in this game. They're 0 of 4. Fourth down conversions, Heidelberg 1 of 1, Capital 2 of 2. Red zone chances, Heidelberg 2 of 2, Capital 2 of 2 as well. Those are team statistics. Now on to the individual statistics. Jonathan Brown.
Taking a look at starting off with Heidelberg, they're handling their business and trusting their leading back in Montavious Yerby, and he's had 12 attempts so far and 70 yards gained and 2 touchdowns in the first half. He is a workhorse, averaging about 5.4 per carry. But Drew Sims, he's had about 50% throwing the balls, going 12 attempts, completing 6 of them for 78 yards. His longest throw so far was 24 yards. His main target has been Dimitri Pinnick, and he's only had 2 receptions, leading his team with 44. He's had a few other of his teammates with a possession of their own. The next one, Oliver Keller, with 18 yards right behind him. Taking a look at Capital, in the passing game, also going 50%. Trevor Harrison-Ron with 16 attempts, completing 8 of them. He has 2 touchdowns of his own in the air. So Harrison-Ron showing that he can sling that ball. His longest throw so far of the game is 29 yards. But we've seen both quarterbacks, and both quarterbacks actually are tied with leading the rushing. Leading the way is Harrison-Ron with 29 gained yards. Drew Engel and Everson both have 26 rushing yards, but that shows you that our quarterbacks are a dual threat, using their legs to necessarily help the team to pick up gaining yards here in close situations right there, and leading the way with receptions. There's been spreading the ball around for Capital. Mike Elmore with the one reception with 29 yards. Sam Pickett with a 22-yard reception and the touchdown from Trevor Harrison-Ron, and Dom Glenn with a 16-yard reception, and Troy McClary also with a receiving touchdown. Aurelius Walters had that touchdown earlier in the first half as well.
Let's go ahead and now get you to the scoring summary for today's game. Heidelberg jumped out to an early 2-0 lead on a punt attempt by Terrell. The snap simply sailed over his head out of the back of the end zone. That gave Heidelberg an early 2-0 lead, but Capital was able to respond later on in the first quarter thanks to a 1-yard touchdown reception by Aurelius Walters Jr. That gave Capital a 7-2 lead at the end of the first quarter. But immediately at the beginning of the second quarter, Montavious Yerby able to pound it in from 1 yard out. That gave Heidelberg a 9-7 advantage. But then Capital with a response. Sam Pickett going up top, hauling in a 22-yard touchdown reception from Trevor Harrison-Ron. Made that 14-9 in favor of Capital. Right back did Heidelberg come. Yerby, 6-yard rushing touchdown. 16-14 lead for Heidelberg. And then Terrell drilling a 35-yard field goal. That gave Capital a 1-point lead. Heidelberg gets the ball back, turns it over. Following a penalty on a blindside block, Capital is able to get the ball at their own 45-yard line. Excellent opportunity to score before the end of the half, right? Pass is picked off, unfortunately. Making the interception, Kingston Mataba, junior defensive back out of New Albany, Ohio. He takes it back 50 yards for a score, and that's where we stand, 23-17, as we get ready for the second half. Brutal end to a first half that showed so much promise offensively, defensively, and even special teams-wise.
Well, going into the second half, the defense has done their part. I want to shout out Jesse Foster. Jesse Foster has been doing the dirty work, getting 2 sacks in that first half, applying pressure to Drew Sims. But the Capital wants to make a run here to put a stand here. They're going to have to figure out a way to stop Yerby. If they're able to stop Montavious Yerby from pushing his way forward against him, because we saw earlier in that end of the first quarter, in less than 30 seconds, Heidelberg was able to move the ball just by handing it off to Yerby. You stop Yerby, you kind of put a halt on this moving offense for Heidelberg. Moving forward with Capital in their offense, we've seen Harrison-Ron and Everson step into this game using both of their legs. However, I'd like to see Harrison-Ron kind of sling that thing some more. He's gone 50% so far today, so we know he's capable of moving that ball as well as using his legs in tight situations. So it just really depends on the offensive line. Can you give your quarterback time? Because Heidelberg is bringing pressure. And Capital will start with the ball this second half, so I'm expecting them to respond and start off strong here with a nice touchdown.
Before we get to the start of the second half, I want to remind you folks that basketball season is upon us. Women's basketball team for Capital will actually have their home opener here later on tonight. And then the men's team will have their first home game of the season next Saturday when they entertain Olivet. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 tip-off. We'll get things started with a short pregame show at 1:20. And both teams expected to be factors in the OAC, Jonathan.
It's going to be an interesting season. We know the women's basketball team is under a new helm with a new head coach this season. So excited to see where the women's basketball team can start off the season tonight. And the boys have been finishing up their exhibition trail against the Dayton Flyers and Ohio Bobcats. So ready to see how they can respond here moving forward.
So now we get to start a second half, and this is kind of new territory for us. Given the way that the season has gone for Capital, we haven't had a lot of competitive games. We had that Wilmington game earlier this season. That was a game that was competitive heading into the fourth quarter. A fun first half. Let's see if the Capitals, if the Comets can piece together something here. You know, you don't like to go winless. You want, especially on senior day right here. These 13 seniors have, really worked hard at the beginning, especially here at the beginning of the tenure of Brian Foos, who's, by all accounts, has been given all the confidence in the world by the staff here at Capital. They are letting him build this program, but man, a win over a quality program like Heidelberg, that would do wonders for them confidence-wise, give them plenty of momentum heading into the offseason where Brian Foos and his coaching staff plan to recruit their tails off ahead of the 2023 season. As Jonathan mentioned, Capital will be the ones getting the ball here to begin the second half. They were moving the ball. They ran the ball well, passed the ball, took advantage of their opportunities in the red zone. As this temperature continues to dip, just dip. The snow flurries have gone away, but it is cloudy up top, and it is getting to the point that now the lights have got to be turned on here at Bernlohr Stadium in order to improve visibility here in Bexley. We're ready for the second half. Brandon Steckel will kick it away. Aurelius Walters Jr. back to receive. Walters Jr. will take it. He'll drop it, but he'll recover. 10, 15, 20, 25. All the way out to about the 30-yard line, and then a flag is thrown around the Capital 33-yard line, so already a penalty to sort out here to begin the second half.
It'll be holding here.
Looks like it's in the general area for that.
Holding on the receiving team, number 13. 10-yard penalty. Foul, first down.
Penalty goes against Nate Yonker, freshman wide receiver out of Pataskala, Ohio. So now the Capital offense comes back onto the field. Saw a little bit of Ben Everson at quarterback, but for the most part it was Trevor Harrison-Ron, 8 of 16 through the air, 2 passing touchdowns, and that interception at the end of the first half that gave Heidelberg a lead where it currently stands right now, 23-17. After the penalty, Capital with their worst field position of the day, backed up all the way to their own 13-yard line. Engel in at running back. 3 wide receivers. Harrison-Ron in the gun. Give us to Engel as they try to push the pile forward, but he'll be stopped for no gain that time.
This is a key drive coming out of halftime. You're starting off with the ball here. I know we're in a bad situation to start the ball off deep into your own territory. However, you take your time, take as much time as you can to push this ball forward here. We call that an effective drive, and hopefully Capital can figure out a way to get the ball rolling again.
They were generous. They gave Engel a yard. 2nd down and 9. Ball spotted at the 14. Harrison-Ron will give Engel with a lot of running room. 15, 20, out to about the 27-yard line.
And just like that, moving the ball forward, picking up a first down, and you will move the chains.
So now the ball will be spotted at the Capital 26, where it will be 1st and 10 for the Comets. We've seen some nice runs out of Engel today, keeping drives going for the Capital offense. So now Jonathan Williams will check in at running back. A 3 wide receiver set. Trevor Harrison-Ron in the shotgun. Harrison-Ron takes the snap. Hands to Williams. And Williams might have gotten a yard on that play, perhaps. Actually, it'll be more of a no gain on that play as he wasn't able to find much running room on that first down play. 13 and a half to play, just underway here in the second half, a game that Heidelberg leads 23-17. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Harrison-Ron will take the snap, he'll roll to his right. He'll throw, passes dropped. And the ball not able to be secured by Bennett Zerby that time, sophomore out of Bellbrook, Ohio. Boy, Zerby was open. It's like the old adage goes, if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it, right?
Well, he might have just saved them because that was a full-on collision course right there from one of the Heidelberg DBs to come lay him out.
So now it's 3rd and 10. Capital with the ball at their own 26. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Harrison Ron back to throw. Pass is caught by Engel. Engel trying to find some running room, but ultimately taken out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Ushered out there by Tremont Wiley, graduate defensive back out of East Point, Michigan. And just like that, Capital has to punt.
It was a 3-and-out situation right there.
Well, they were able to pick up the first down on that Engel run, I remember. But, yeah, short-lived offensive drive. So now Terrell will have to kick it away. Back to return the punt is, looks like Joseph Norris III. Terrell barely able to get this one away. And now it will roll past midfield, and they will down it at the Heidelberg 46-yard line. Boy, it's been a tough day for Terrell punting the football. First he had the snap that went over his head, and now that time wasn't able to make that ball travel all that far. Great pressure by the Heidelberg special teams.
That right there was just good pressure coming up, and making it a difficult punt right there, and it sets up Heidelberg with good field position to start off this drive.
12:37 to play in the third quarter. Heidelberg 23, Capital 17. A first down and 10 for the Student Princes from their own 46, following the punt by Terrell. 3 receiver set. Yerby the tailback. Sims the quarterback. Sims takes the snap. He'll hand to Yerby, and Yerby bottled up. He'll be taken down around the 46-yard line. Knifing his way in there defensively was Jalen Anderson, freshman linebacker out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And now a Heidelberg player hurt. He's hopping on one leg. That would be Vensky Gedna, graduate senior out of Miami, Florida.
And with that right there, we just saw Capital wrap up Yerby. You figure out a way to slow him down. You stop him. Heidelberg's going to have to change up their schemes here. And that's pretty much what you got to do here on the defensive end. You stop Yerby. Yerby is a playmaker, but so is number 4, Dimitri Pickett. And if you stop the run game, expect to see him start to try to sling it.
Second down and 10. Heidelberg with the ball at their own 46. 3 receiver set. Yerby, the running back. Sims will throw out to Yerby, who makes the catch. Yerby getting past a couple of tacklers. 35-30, 25-20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Wow. What a play by Yerby as he takes a swing pass all the way to the house. And an injured player for Capital back at the 36-yard line. Boy, there's a reason why Yerby is one of the top running backs in the OAC. He showed it off right there.
Well, I seen when you saw Yerby swing out to the right, it looked like the defender who came off on the edge didn't know if he should have followed Yerby or if he was going to come off that blitz. And Yerby just had a field day right there. You had open space, and he went to work, and he took it all the way down. That is his 3rd touchdown on the day, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air.
Meanwhile, Baylor Aparius has just gotten to his feet. Aparius, a senior from Cincinnati, Ohio.
5-1-3.
Yep. And Aparius making his way to the sideline as he's clutching his left arm. So now on for the point after is Brandon Steckel. Yerby, as Jonathan mentioned, already with his 3rd touchdown of the game as the lead has been lengthened a bit here by Heidelberg in the early stages of the second half.
It was looking good. They stopped Yerby on the run game, but showed that he can receive the ball as well.
Snap back, hold down. Kick is up. It is good. 11:58 remaining in the third quarter. The score, Heidelberg 30, Capital 17. We'll take a quick break. This is Comets Football on athletics.capital.edu. Montavious Yerby strikes again for Heidelberg. 54-yard touchdown reception. His third touchdown, total touchdown of the game. He already had 2 rushing early on in this affair. And now it's Heidelberg leading Capital 30-17. 11:58 to play in the third quarter. Capital desperately needing a response here offensively. As this ball is popped up in the air, it's going to bounce. Taken at the 21. And taken down at about the 15-yard line. Not the best start to this drive, as it was Carlton Mathis Jr., the sophomore defensive back out of Toledo, that had to make that return. That the ball initially went over the head of Jonathan Williams, who should have caught it in the first place, right?
It was running backwards. You learn off in kickoff or returns. You just got to move the ball forward, pick up as much yards as you can. You know, staying lateral and try to swing it across the other side of the field is more difficult than people try to think and seem. So you're deep in your own territory again to start off this drive.
1st and 10. Capital will start at their own 15. 2 receivers set. Everson back to throw. He's going to bomb it, and it's going to be incomplete. The intended target on the play was Bennett Zerby, but he was double covered on that play. 2nd down and 10 upcoming.
That was a decent throw, a 50-50 ball up there for your receiver and DB to try to go get it. Turn into a deflection, not a bad throw, but I like the risk right there, using that arm of Everson to sling it all the way down the field.
2nd down and 10. Capital still stuck at their own 15-yard line. Everson will stay in at quarterback. Williams and Engel, the running backs, and a 3-wide receiver set. There's Walters Jr. in motion, and Harrison Ron, it turns out, was the one who kept it as he takes it, or Everson, I should say, as he takes the ball across the 20 down to about the 22-yard line. And now an important 3rd down here.
Nice little speed option right there. Faking it off the toss and keeping it for himself.
So now 3rd down and 3. Capital at their own 22-yard line. Looking to pick up this 1st down, keep this drive going, regain momentum.
Need here, some kind of switch. Pick up the 1st down.
Everson in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the far side. He'll take the snap, play fake, runs with it. I think he's going to be about a yard short. They're going to spot him at the 24-yard line. He needed to get to the 25.
4th down and short.
Bring out the punt team.
So Capital will punt it away. Boy, I thought Coach Foos for a moment would have entertained the idea of going for it there, but he wants to play the field position battle.
Not deep this far into your territory. Maybe if you were closer up on the 40, it's a different story, but you're deep in your own territory. You're down 2 touchdowns, 2 scores. Just trust your defense to get the ball back.
So Terrell on to punt it away. Almost had that one blocked, but he's able to get that one away. Now he's looking for a bounce. He'll get it inside the 40, down at the Heidelberg 38-yard line. So that is where Heidelberg will begin their drive. Again, we may mention this during the halftime show. Basketball season is upon us. Women's basketball with their home opener tonight against Kenyon. And then the men's home opener involving Olivet next Saturday. We'll have that game for you here on athletics.capital.edu. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 tip-off. We'll get things started with a short pregame show at 1:20. 1st down and 10. Heidelberg at their own 38. Sims will hand to Yerby. 40, 45, midfield, and Yerby is pushed out of bounds around the 47-yard line of Capital. Another 1st down for this Heidelberg offense. And boy, Yerby's like a locomotive. He's just picking up steam with every carry.
Exactly. Speaking of Capital Sports, our women's soccer team is actually in their NCAA tournament right now in Cleveland, Ohio versus the Bombers, and it is a 1-0 score with 12 minutes left to go in the half.
Ithaca leading that one 1-0 as Yerby tackled on the play right there, short gain. That game being played up at Case Western in Cleveland. And now there's a scuffle, and now a flag is thrown as some extracurricular activities have broken off after the play is over.
What did he say to him? That, sometimes I just wish you could mic up players.
I mean, do you really want to hear it? Yeah. I'm sure a few choice words would be in there. Still awaiting the call from our head referee, Steve Grove.
Unsportsmanlike, Heidelberg, number 28. And unsportsmanlike, Capital, number 50.
So unsportsmanlike penalties called against Gavin Looney for Heidelberg and Griffin McKinney of Capital. Offsetting penalties will replay the down.
They said this is a man's game. This is a very emotional sport here.
So the ball will be spotted after all that at the Capital 47-yard line. It will be 2nd and 10. Sims, the quarterback, takes the snap. He'll hand to Yerby. No, now it's a backup running back inside the 40. Carrying the rock that time.
It was Jair Curtis.
Senior out of Massillon, Ohio. Haven't seen too many of Curtis toting the rock, but they decided to give Yerby a breather at this juncture. Go with a quick tempo. And Curtis is upended. He was cut down by senior linebacker James Curtis out of Zanesville.
That is soup. Campbell soup, so good right there. Coming in with a nice big tackle right there to bring up 4th down.
4th down and 3. Heidelberg at Capital's 40-yard line. They're in no man's territory. And it looks like Scott Donaldson has chosen to leave his offense out there on the field. And now a timeout's going to be taken by Heidelberg. Interesting. They now have 2 timeouts remaining here in the second half. The score, Heidelberg 30, Capital 17. Goes without saying, you got to get a stop right here, and you got to get momentum back on your side.
This is a crucial 4th down right here. And we know that Heidelberg so far on 4th down in that actually on 4th down, I think they have converted. They're actually 1 for 2 on their 4th down conversion. So this is a crucial 4th down right here. Capital's defense, you get to stop here. Momentum swings in your direction.
I want to give a quick score update. The game is over at Ohio Stadium. The Buckeyes win in a romp over Indiana, 56-14. Heisman Trophy candidate C.J. Stroud with a nice bounce-back game, 297 passing yards and 5 passing touchdowns against the Hoosiers. 8:34 left to play in our game, third quarter. Heidelberg 30, Capital 17. Let's see if the Capital defense can stiffen here. It's 4th down for the Student Princes. 3 yards to go. The ball spotted at the Capital 40-yard line. 3 receivers bunched to the far side, 1 to the near side. And now a timeout is taken by Capital.
I would have been like the look that Heidelberg came out. You just want to make sure that you are all set here. This is a very crucial 4th down right here.
Capital talking things over defensively. An uneven season for Heidelberg, 6-3 overall, 5-3 with an OAC play. They got beat by Baldwin Wallace last week, 21-20 in overtime, after having a 13-0 lead heading into the 4th quarter. Boy, that was on their senior day as well. So you knew that they had a bad taste in their mouth heading into this game. They have been able to pull away a little bit here in the 3rd quarter, but Capital looking to try to regain that momentum here, trying to stop them on this upcoming 4th down play. As Heidelberg's offense comes back onto the field, Capital's defense does as well. 4th down and 3. Heidelberg at the Comets' 40-yard line. Sims in the shotgun. 4 wide receiver set. Trying to get somebody to jump off sides. Now he'll change the play. 3 receivers bunched to the far side, 1 to the near side. Sims takes the snap, back to pass, and now a flag is thrown. A flag has been thrown, and it looks like this will be a false start on Heidelberg.
And that right there backed them up. Let's see if they'll bring out the punt team.
Looks like they will.
And that right there is a crucial stop right there for Capital. Heidelberg making a mistake right there. Wish they could have back. A false start pushes you back, and now you got opportunity to bring the offense back out here.
4th and 8. The ball will be spotted at the 45-yard line. The punt team on the field for Heidelberg. Back to receive for Capital, Aurelius Walters Jr., who had a touchdown reception earlier in this game. Punt is away. It's a knuckleball that'll be taken at the 11-yard line. Walters trying to find some running room. 10, 15, and he'll be ushered out of bounds around the 17-yard line or so. So a long field to work with here for Capital. But the main thing is they get a stop defensively. And now let's see if the offense can get them back into this game.
You had those 2 drives, a little stagnant. Now, third time's a charm right here. Hopefully they can get some things moving in the right direction. We'll see if it'll be Harrison Ron or Everson at the helm, that quarterback right there.
More importantly, this is a time for that young offensive line that has certainly taken a lot of bumps and bruises here in 2022. This is the time for them to step up here. Because no matter who is back there throwing the football, whether it be Harrison Ron or Everson, they need protection. 1st and 10, Capital at their own 19. Jonathan Williams with a run, and not much there. There hasn't been a lot of push up front by that Capital offensive line when it comes to the run game. You know, a few nice runs here and there by Engel. Jonathan Williams having a tough time getting anything going with that play. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Capital still at their own 19-yard line. All Capital needs here is need a spark. Just need a big play. Need to get the crowd back into it too.
Just one big play. That's it.
Harrison Ron on the shotgun. 3 wide receiver set. And they will hand to Williams, and Williams immediately dragged down in the backfield. Didn't really have time for that play to develop, and making a tackle was Kobe Benesh, junior linebacker out of Wakeman, Ohio. Again, a no gain on the play, and again, a 3rd and long situation here for Capital's offense. 3rd and 10. And they're still stuck at their own 19.
Deep in your own territory. Now you got to throw the ball after two run attempts with no gain.
So now, 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. Harrison Ron throwing, puts it up. It is caught!
Up top.
Nice catch made by Jamal Wiggins. Sophomore out of Zanesville, Ohio, just across midfield. Maybe that's the spark that the Capital offense needs. 1st down, Comets.
Just needed one play right there, and that was a phenomenal play right there. Wiggins calling up man and bringing that ball up top, securing it, and look at it, moving the chains, and that they are in Heidelberg territory right now. That is some momentum, and hopefully that'll bring some energy to the crowd here. Got to feed into this team.
1st and 10. Capital now has the ball at the Heidelberg 46-yard line. 3 wide receiver set. Give is to Engel. Engel fighting his way forward across the 45 down to about the 44. So that'll only be a 2-yard gain on the play by Drew Engel. Walters Jr. will check back in as making his way to the sideline is Jamal Wiggins. Boy, fantastic catches. He had to go up to the penthouse that time to make that catch in the sky.
Went up top. Harrison Ron stood in the pocket, stepped in it, and made that throw. Couldn't ask for anything better than that.
So now it's 2nd and 8. Capital at Heidelberg's 44-yard line. 3 receivers set. Harrison Ron takes the snap. He'll roll to his left. Looking, throwing, and it's incomplete.
A little too low to the ground.
Intended target on the play was Eddie Thomas, the freshman out of Brandon, Florida. And now another 3rd down upcoming here for this Capital offense. This time it's 3rd and 8. The ball still spotted at the Heidelberg 44. Engel checks out. Looks like they're going to go with an empty backfield. Harrison Ron will be all by himself in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near side. 5 wide goes this Comets offense. Harrison Ron takes the snap. Back to pass, throwing and incomplete. Intended target on the play that time was Drew Montoya, junior wideout out of Hollister, California. And now the punt team comes on for Capital. He did have Montoya open, it looked like, going up the seam, but Montoya just wasn't able to turn around in time to make the throw.
Well, it was a quick
or to make the catch.
It was a quick throw at that because Heidelberg brought that pressure in. It made it difficult for Harrison Ron right there. On another note, he's done for the game. Mike Elmore is unfortunately sidelined for the rest of the game. He does now have a boot on.
Shame to see that on that young man as the punt is away. It'll roll inside the 20, inside the 15, and ultimately taken down, or ultimately downed at the 13-yard line.
Heidelberg is now deep in their territory, so we'll see if they can figure out something moving here because they kind of have been at a standstill since scoring early in the first of the second half. And they've kind of been stagnant now, and let's see if Capital's defense can kind of do what they can do best and bring some momentum here.
1st and 10, Heidelberg will begin this drive at their own 13. 5:26 to play in the third quarter. Heidelberg 30, Capital 17. Yearby back in the game. He'll instantly get the rock as he'll slash his way across the 15 down to about the 18-yard line. It'll be a gain of about 5 on the play. So they put Yearby back in there. Ball now spotted at the Heidelberg 18-yard line. Sims in the gun. And a flag thrown. Sims looking to air it out. It is incomplete. And now another flag has been thrown as it looks like Louis Hurston will be flagged for pass interference once again.
That ball was thrown underneath the receiver. I don't know how that's the pass interference.
Underthrown pass. And now more penalties to sort out here. We're expecting this to be a pass interference on Capital. And it looked like
2 fouls on the defense. First, enforcement number 97, that penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense, 15-yard in the spot, automatic first down.
so encroachment by the defense. That penalty was declined. And then they ultimately accepted the penalty for pass interference. Tack on 15 yards. Fresh set of downs now for Heidelberg. So now it's 1st and 10 for the Student Princes at their own 33. Give us to Yearby. Yearby will take it across the 35 down to about the 37-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 4 on the play for Yearby, who has turned in another sterling performance. 3 total touchdowns on the day so far. Had a catch that went for 54. And right now, my stats have him at 80 yards rushing. A couple rushing touchdowns in this game as well.
I guarantee you at the end of the game he'll have over 100 yards, and that'll put him at 1,000 on the season.
2nd down and 6. Little trickeration as Jaron Curtis was the one with the carry. He'll take it across the 35 down to about the 37. And now it brings up a 3rd down here. 3rd and 6. Ball spot at the Heidelberg 37 as we tick under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Heidelberg 30, Capital 17. Sims in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the near side. Yearby in the gun on his right hip. Sims will go back to throw. Looking over the middle. Caught. That'll be a 1st down as the catch is made by Dimitri Pennick. He'll take it across the 43, and now he's really slow to get up that time as it looked like he took a hit on one of his legs.
Tackle made by the Comets, Griffin McKinney.
Griffin McKinney was the one who made the tackle on the play for the Comets. So now play has been stopped here with 3:34 to play in the third quarter. Heidelberg 30, Capital 17. This is the second time today that we've seen Pennock go down on the field due to injury.
Another third down. Actually, I believe that is Heidelberg's. That's Heidelberg's actually first conversion on third down.
Which is pretty amazing, considering that we're this late into the game. Oh, boy, that does not look good for Pennock. He is not putting any pressure whatsoever on that right foot of his.
You know, seeing all these injuries today got me thinking. I know the NFL is kind of in this discussion right now to kind of get rid of turf fields. We've been seeing a lot of recent injuries from at the NFL level, and today it just makes you want to question, should we see fields transition back to that grass field?
I'm all for grass. 2 reasons. It looks good and safer to play on. 1st and 10. Ball at the Heidelberg 44. Yearby will take the rock, and he'll pound it forward. Looks like to midfield. Gain of 6 on the play. And you're absolutely right about those injuries. I get it. Turf is easier to maintain, and there's a lot less maintenance than what you have with grass, but at some point you got to think about the player's safety. Yearby, cross midfield, 45, 40, and forced out of bounds around the 35-yard line. As Yearby just continues to rack up yards.
1st and 10, student
Field
Prince's on the
day.
Capital 35-yard line.
So now it's 1st and 10. Heidelberg marching on this drive. They're at Capital's 35. Sims will take the snap. He'll hand to Yearby. 35, 30, inside the 25, all the way down to the 23-yard line. That's a pickup of 12 on the play. And another first down for Heidelberg, who continues to go with this up-tempo pace. They're already lined up and ready to go here.
We've seen this before. They are in full swing and motion right now like a locomotive.
Sims in the shotgun, back to pass, throws over everybody. Whoa, was that pass picked off? No, it was incomplete. Louis Hurston is jumping up and down saying, hey, I made the pick right there. Give me an interception.
All you need is just 1 foot in.
The coverage and breakup.
So it'll simply go down as a pass breakup. I thought initially that was going to sail over everybody's head, the way the ball was flying through the air. But Hurston might have had a chance at a pick right there. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Heidelberg at the Capital 23. Yearby trying to find some running room, and he'll be taken down to the 22. Making the tackle on the play for Capital was Cyrus Burden, freshman linebacker out of Tiffin.
49 Cyrus Burden, the tackle.
So now it's 3rd down and 9. Heidelberg at Capital's 22-yard line. Minute 45 remaining in the third quarter. Heidelberg up 30-17. Capital trying to hang around here. Sims looking towards the Heidelberg sideline. And Heidelberg doesn't seem to be in any particularly big hurry.
Just don't need to rush.
Play clock down to 3. Now he'll take the snap. Sims looking, stepping up, throwing, caught inside the 10, touchdown, Heidelberg.
Another touchdown by Oliver Keller, wide receiver, senior, 6'2", out of Hope Sound, Florida.
Sims with the touchdown pass there. And now this game has really entered the danger zone for Capital here, as Heidelberg is a extra point away from going up by 20.
And just like that. That's all it takes is just 1 play.
Steckel on for the point after. Snap down, snap back, hold down. Kick is on the way, and it is good. We'll take a break. A minute 14 remaining in the third quarter. Heidelberg 37, Capital 17. This is Comets Football, athletics.capital.edu. Once again, Heidelberg finds the end zone. This time it is a Drew Sims pass to Oliver Keller. It has now increased the Heidelberg lead to 37-17 with a minute 14 left to play in the third quarter. Boy, things looking bleak here for Capital. 0-9 overall, 0-8 with an OAC play entering today's game. As Aurelius Walters Jr. will bring it across the 25 all the way up to, looks like the 34-yard line. Now they're saying the ball came loose. Heidelberg saying that they have possession, and they're saying that the returner is down.
Good call right there.
So Capital will maintain possession.
Coverage for Heidelberg by 33, Sam Thompson.
Ball will be officially spotted at the 34, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Capital. Minute 6 remain in the third quarter.
As far as this game is far from over, but it's reaching that out of reach point right now, and now you need an opportunity here to kind of get back in grasp with this game here moving forward.
You at least got to give yourself a chance entering the fourth quarter. Trevor Harrison, Ron, little trickeration. Aurelius Walters Jr., 35, 40, 45, midfield. And escorted out of bounds near midfield.
All right, there, some momentum to kind of swing the good Capital moving forward. That's a good job of moving the chains.
Nice ingenuity on the offense right there. I like that play design. So now it's 1st and 10 at midfield. Trevor Harrison, Ron, checks to the Capital sideline as they will change the play. Working with 3 wide receivers. Engel out there at running back as well, as we tick close to 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Heidelberg 37, Capital 17. Harrison, Ron, play action, throw incomplete. Throwing a little behind that time to Eddie Thomas, who was streaking up the far side of the field. So that'll stop the clock. 17 seconds to go in the quarter. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
Trying to go quick with it. Let's see here. Looks like the Capital is trying to get in, swinging that ball around.
4 wideouts. Engel still the running back. Harrison, Ron, back to throw. Trying to set up a screen. Complete. 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown.
Set up Hartman's.
Jamal Wiggins takes it all the way to the house. The bubble screen works to perfection that time, and Capital is not dead yet.
That is how you close out a quarter right there with a great response. Great 2 plays right there. We saw a reverse pitch right there with Aurelius Walters to set up that first down. And a wide receiver screen cutting underneath the Jamal Wiggins, and he takes it all the way in there for a touchdown. That is 3 TDs on the day for Trevor Harrison Ron.
Okay, so now things will get interesting entering the fourth quarter after that touchdown. As now time has been called. This is curious. Okay, now we're ready to go for the point after. Terrell on for the point after. Kick is blocked. Point after is blocked right there, and you need all the points you can get when you're trying to mount a comeback.
It's still a 2-possession score game, so you would love to have that back, but still it's a 14-point game now, 2-score game. You're still in it. Like I said, you needed a score opportunity here to kind of get the game back in its own reach, and now you've done that moving into the fourth quarter here, closing out the third quarter with a crucial touchdown, a very much needed touchdown.
So 6 seconds to go here in the third quarter. It is now Heidelberg 37, Capital 23. So there is hope yet for Capital here. Terrell will kick it. Yerby back to receive.
Tyler Terrell to kick off.
Along with Monte Gilliard. Kick is away by Terrell. Gilliard, 15, 20, 25, 30. Boy, rumbles his way across the 35 before finally being taken down around the 37, and now flags have been thrown. Boy, things are really starting to get nasty down there after the play is over, as Heidelberg and Capital players were scuffling with one another on the far sideline near the Heidelberg sideline. Don't know what that was all about. So more penalties to sort out here.
Coming from altercation from our linebacker, a little like number 45, Braden Ginn, the freshman linebacker out of Worthington, Ohio.
Unfortunately, Capital number 45. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So they're going to call a 15-yard penalty. Looks like against Capital. And that's not what you need, not in this situation. So now great field position upcoming for this drive for Heidelberg. Boy, just when you think there's a little glimmer of hope there for Capital, that penalty now all of a sudden gives Heidelberg an excellent opportunity to retake the momentum. Well, we'll see what happens. 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the Capital 46. And a new quarterback in for Heidelberg. Deep shot, incomplete, over everybody's head. The intended target was Dimitri Pennick. So Shane Traharn, graduate senior from Canton, Ohio, went to Perry High School. And he's tall, 6'6", 205. That is the final play of the third quarter. We head to the fourth. Heidelberg leading Capital 37-23. This is Comets Football on flex.capital.edu. Let's start action in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg 37, Capital 23. And this is curious. Shane Traharn continues to be in there at quarterback for Heidelberg after Drew Sims had taken all the snaps at quarterback previously in this game.
I'm pulling a trick out of Capitals.
Yerby with a run, 45, 40. Breaking a couple tacklers and taking it all the way down to the Capital 36-yard line. That'll be enough for a Heidelberg first down.
To be honest, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback for Heidelberg. We know who's pushing the ball for this team right here.
Yeah.
Yerby with over 120 yards rushing. He's got 128 with 2 TDs on the ground and 1 in the air. He's been putting the team on his back today.
1st and 10. Heidelberg at Capital's 36-yard line. Traharn trying to run with it. And he'll be pushed out of bounds around the 32-yard line. Traharn, a graduate senior out of Canton, Ohio, taking over for Drew Sims, the junior from Perrysburg.
25, Chris Johnson on the stop.
Gain of 4 on that last play, so now it'll be 2nd down and 6. Heidelberg with the ball at Capital's 32-yard line. Yerby with the carry, 35, 30. 25, and he will take it all the way down to the 22-yard line. And you just get the feeling that Heidelberg is seeking the knockout punch right here.
doing a good job of calling response. You know, we responded back, touchdown, and hopefully our defense can make a crucial stop here.
1st and 10, Heidelberg at the Capitol 22. Traharn takes the snap, hands to Yerby. Yerby stopped at the 20. Making the tackle on the play for Capitol was Quentin Gem. Gem, the freshman linebacker out of Fairfield. So now it's 2nd down and 8. The ball spotted at the Capitol 20. 13-18 to play in the 4th quarter. Heidelberg leading 37-23. Traharn once again in the shotgun. 2 receivers to each side. Yerby right behind him. He fakes it to Yerby, runs it himself inside the 20, lowers his shoulder, and is finally taken down to the 16-yard line. Taking him down on the play defensively was Chris Johnson, junior linebacker of Westchester, Ohio.
Nice little 6-yard gain right there. Quarterback showing he can put down his shoulder, pick up some more yards there.
So now it's 3rd down and 2. Ball spotted at the 16-yard line. Traharn will toss it to Yerby. 15, 13, and that's where Yerby is taken down as that clock continues to run here for Heidelberg. So, you know, not only are they looking for a score right here, but they're taking their time. They're letting some time run off the clock.
Looks like they're bringing out the field goal team here.
That was on a 3rd down, so he was a couple yards short. And so on for the field goal is Brandon Steckel.
I'll bring it back to a 3-game possession.
Brandon Steckel on for the field goal attempt.
If he makes this.
Steckel, a right-footed kicker. Snap back, hold down, kick is up. It is no good. He missed it. He missed it.
Luck is on the Capitol side, and if that's not momentum for you all, that's a sign right there. Sounds like we need to take this ball all the way down to the end zone and make this a one-score game here.
11:46 to play in the 4th quarter. Heidelberg 37, Capitol 23. Okay, what does Capitol's offense need to do to get back into gear, move the ball down the field?
Well, going off of that last drive, you really haven't seen them call play styles like that. You know, in typical run the ball, try to pick up some yards from the start off on the first 2 plays, and then they want to throw it. Great job with that reverse run play. He had us fooled. We didn't know where the ball was going, and Aurelius was able to pick up a good 1st down, and that kind of got momentum swinging. And then a wide receiver screen. You want to see some versatility here with the weapons that you have on the offensive side. So we're going to see him sling the ball at least a little bit more.
Harrison Ron in the shotgun. Ball spotted at the 20-yard line, and it's a run play up to the 22-yard line that time by Engel, it looks like. Actually, Jonathan Williams, excuse me.
28, Jonathan Williams.
So that'll only be a gain of 2 on the play. 11.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Heidelberg leading Capitol 37-23. The Comets are trying to keep hope alive here. A receiver to each side. A run play for Williams. And Williams all the way down to the 29. That was a gain of 7 on that play. So now it brings up 3rd down, 3rd and short. And Capitol going with a little bit of up-tempo here.
Got to push the pace. Got to start pushing P a little bit more.
Third down and 1. Capitol at their own 29. Man in motion. Harrison Ron is going to run with it. And he is going to be taken down at the 29-yard line.
Got to go for it.
Have to go for it. Great tackle made by Zachary Blackiston.
Capitol is actually perfect on 4th down conversions right now. And this is a 4th and 1 situation right now. Wouldn't be surprised if I see Harrison Ron taking the game with his own legs.
4th and 1. Need to get the ball to the 30-yard line in order to continue this drive. Harrison Ron in the pistol. Receiver to each side of the field. Jonathan Williams is the tailback. Harrison Ron will run with it, and he will get it. Took it to the 31-yard line. First down, Capital.
Capital first down.
And now Capital's got to really quicken it here. You're facing a big deficit. The clock is running. 9:48 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
And Mateki Tuma also.
So now Harrison Ron in the shotgun. 3 wide out set. Angle in at running back. Harrison Ron back to pass. Lofting. Passes. Almost caught by Pickett, but he wasn't able to secure it. Nearest guy defensively for Heidelberg was Key Cunningham, junior defensive back out of West Palm Beach, Florida.
It was another jump ball right there. Pickett was able to get up in the air, just unable to bring the ball down with him. When you see that kind of one-on-one matchup, you just throw it out there and you trust your receiver to go out there and get it.
9:27 to go in the fourth quarter. Second down and 10 for Capital, trailing Heidelberg 37-23. Ball at the Comet 31-yard line. Two receiver to each side of the field. Harrison Ron, pass caught. Catch is made by Sam Pickett. That's going to be enough for a first down. Catch made to the 41.
Moving the chains, you target the same receiver again. Finding the pocket within that defense right there. Like they were in some zone, and you just kind of find where that window is open. And Capital is pushing the pace here.
First and 10. As a timeout is taken by Heidelberg. Interesting.
Not surprised here. This team was going to push the pace. You want to make sure your defense can get on track here.
9:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg 37, Capital 23. Heidelberg trying to end their season on a high note, trying to improve to 7-3 overall, 6-3 with an OAC play. Meanwhile, we've talked about it. Capital still looking for its first win of this season.
Couldn't think of any way to do that than in comeback fashion.
Well, remember, Heidelberg was up 13-0 against Baldwin Wallace last week entering the fourth quarter, and they ultimately lost that game in overtime. Strange things can certainly happen.
You said this might be an early Christmas miracle, although I know Thanksgiving's coming up first.
Let's not forget about Turkey Day. Turkey Day is important, all right?
Yes, indeed, indeed.
First and 10 for Capital as their offense comes back onto the field. The ball spot at the Comet 41-yard line. Just a little over 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg with a 37-23 lead. A 4 wide receiver set. Harrison Ron back to throw. They're setting up a screen. Walters makes the catch, but he is nailed at the 40-yard line. And this time, more flags are being thrown. Boy, I tell you what, this has been a really undisciplined effort by Heidelberg today. A lot of unsportsmanlike penalties. You don't need pushing and shoving here.
We'll see who this goes on.
Stops the clock with 9:01 remaining in the fourth quarter. Capital will gladly take a 15-yard penalty here. That would push it into Heidelberg territory.
After the play, unnecessary roughness, number 74.
Instead, it's an unnecessary roughness penalty against Damian Loya, the sophomore from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. So instead of going forward, it'll back things up for Capital. They'll spot the ball, looks like at the 25-yard line.
Kind of pushes everything back now.
It's now second down and 25.
After the penalty, second and 25.
Harrison Ron with a 4 wide receiver set. Takes the snap, throws, middle, caught. And breaking out of a tackle, across the 35, down to about the 40-yard line. Jamal Wiggins with the catch.
It's a good job by Wiggins by trying to get as close back to that third and manageable situation right there.
Tackled by 6, Joseph Norris, the third.
So after the catch, ball spotted at the 39. Capital going with tempo here. Harrison Ron back to throw, and the pass is incomplete,
Sideline incomplete.
as the intended target was Bennett Zerby.
It was that pressure coming out the middle from Heidelberg that just forced that throw right there. If he just didn't have that pressure, that comeback route was going to be a smooth, being able to pick up the first down, but got to go for it here again. 4th down situation.
Fourth and 11. Capital at their own 39. 8:18 remaining in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg leading Capital 37-23. Capital trying to keep this drive going. They will go with a 5-wide set. Harrison Ron back to throw. Gets out of pressure. Takes a hit, and it is incomplete. Intended target on the play was Drew Montoya, but he's not able to make the catch. A turnover on downs for Capital. Heidelberg will take over.
Turnover on downs, Heidelberg football.
That penalty right there, they're going to want to have that one back for Capital and bring your defense back out here again. And hopefully you can hope for another stop here. We know what Heidelberg is going to do now. You're in the fourth quarter. You have the lead. About 8 minutes left to go. Do what they've been doing best, and that's handing it off.
Let the horse run. That's what they'll try to do with Yerby. In the meantime, Trehorn in the gun. Instead, they're going to throw, and the pass is complete to Pennick. And Pennick will take it across the 35, all the way down to the Capital 30-yard line.
Pick up a first down.
27 Louis Hurst in the stop.
Like short, close to a first down.
I think that was a pickup of 9,
2nd-and-1.
if I have it measured correctly. The lead to 2nd down and 1. The ball will be spotted at the Capital 30. As we take under 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Trehorn will give to Yerby. Yerby gets out of a tackle. 30, 25. Inside the 20, taken down at about the 19-yard line. Another first down for Heidelberg. Another big run by Yerby.
Yerby with 156 yards in this game.
Wow. Yep, he'll be well over 1,000 yards on the season. Question becomes now, depending upon how Bryce Agnew did for Marietta today, is it going to be him or is it going to be Yerby, who ends up being the leading rusher in the OIC this year? Agnew had already gone over 1,000 yards rushing. As it will be Yerby inside the 15, inside the 10. And he'll be marked out of bounds, looks like around the 4-yard line or so.
Oh, it's a nice little reverse. Faked out the defense there.
It'll be 1st and goal.
1st and goal, Heidelberg.
At the Capital 3-yard line. As Heidelberg is looking to put the proverbial nail in the coffin here. Trehorn takes the snap. He'll throw. Is it caught? No. It is dropped by Dimitri Pennick. And hold on, Drew Sims is back in at quarterback. Interesting. So Sims is back in at QB. Yerby's still in there at running back. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. .636 left to play in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg up 37-23 on Capital. Sims back in at quarterback. He'll take the snap. He'll hand to Yerby. And Yerby's great game will continue. Touchdown. Heidelberg. 4 total touchdowns. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the day. And have yourself a game. If you are Montavious Yerby, the senior from Port St. Lucie, Florida, has brought his A game today. And now things not looking too good for Capital.
Yerby went to Wendy's and got him a 4-4-4 special right there. Wow. You just raised the question, what happened after that coming into the second half? We were in a 1-score game, and now Heidelberg has taken full control of the wheel.
With the extra points, it's now Heidelberg 44, Capital 23, with just over 6.5 to play here in the fourth quarter. Yeah, a fun first half. Offense was moving the ball. Defense was making stops. But ultimately, Heidelberg wearing Capital down. And now with a lead of over 20, with a little over 6.5 to play. You know, I've had conversations with Coach Foos about this during the season. The coaching staff needs to go out there and recruit. It's not just bringing in talent. They need numbers. They need to be able to increase this roster and give this coaching staff more to work with. Coach Foos had a very telling comment when I was talking with them. We are not where other teams are at this point when it comes to roster numbers and depth. And it also doesn't help, too, that there have been a lot of young players, freshmen and sophomores, that have played this season. It's been a school of hard knocks for them this season going through the OAC. Walters Jr. will take it at about the 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 45, and knocked out of bounds around the 47-yard line. Good return right there by Aurelius Walters Jr.
That's good field position right there. You give Capital at the 50-yard line to start this offensive drive. It's not over. Need a quick touchdown right here. You can turn things around, onside kick. But offense, you got to come out here with some.
First and 10, Capital on their 48-yard line.
Got to do something here, as Brayton Schmidt is going to come out at quarterback.
Well, I guess that answered the question right there.
Receiver to each side of the field. Schmidt will take the snap, and he will hand to Lance Matthews, the senior running back out of Pickerington. So Brayton Schmidt, the senior out of Sylvania, Ohio, takes over at quarterback. He was the guy that threw the touchdown pass in the loss to Mount Union earlier this season. So some backups going in for Capital at this juncture as we took under 6 minutes to play. Heidelberg 44, Capital 23. Schmidt in the shotgun. 3 wide outs. And now the give is to Matthews, and Matthews is pancaked in the backfield. Making the tackle on the play for Heidelberg is Tyler Turek, the senior defensive lineman out of Bloomville, Ohio.
Third down and 12.
I don't know if I understand a senior night one last time for our seniors to ever put on these pads again. I can understand. I don't know, I didn't want to think that the game was far from over, though, but it looks like that's some of the offensive play call that we'll see here this last final 5 minutes from Capital.
So now it's third down and 12. The ball is spotted at the Capital 45, and now a timeout's going to be taken by Capital with 4:51 to play in the fourth quarter. Now again, following this game, we'll go into full-on basketball mode. Women's basketball entertaining Kenya tonight at 7. And then the men's home opener will be involving Olivet next Saturday. Jonathan and I will be there for that game. Game scheduled to tip off at 1:30. Pre-game coverage will begin at 1:20. Jonathan, how's the women's soccer team doing in that NCAA tournament game?
Women's soccer, they in that matchup right there has come to a halt, and our women's soccer team has lost that matchup. That was a close one, a 1-goal scored game, and the Bombers will be moving forward in the tournament.
Well, that's unfortunate for Capital, but congratulations to women's soccer on having a great season, making the NCAA tournament and being one of the top teams in the OAC. As that pass by Brayton Schmidt is incomplete, and now the punt team will come on for Capital. 4:47 to play in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg leading Capital 44-23.
Eric Noble on to punt.
Eric Noble will come out to punt for Capital. Heidelberg set to receive the ball right here. Back to return is Glenn Pearson, and Pearson will let it bounce.
That's a nice punt right there.
Around the 15, rolls inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line with 4:35 left to play in the fourth quarter. And it looks like the players on the Heidelberg sideline are starting to whoop it up as they're sensing victory, but also they're seeing that a lot of backups will be going in on this upcoming offensive drive. So a little bit of redemption for Heidelberg as they lost their senior day to Baldwin-Wallace last week, but on their way to a victory here at Capitol. Meantime, for the Comets, frustrating day. They had a lead after the first quarter. It was a competitive game heading into halftime, but second half, Heidelberg just wore them down. Yearby still in there. Yearby trying to get out of a tackle.
Oh, please bring him down.
And
out here looking like Saquon.
And he is ultimately taken down at the 7-yard line.
66 Jacob Rohr.
I would think here that with this big lead that Heidelberg's got at the present time, that they are just going to run and just try to run as much clock off as possible.
Well, that's what we kind of seen from this whole game. They ran the ball more times than they've even thrown the ball. So
now it's 2nd and 15 after the 5-yard loss. Straight QB run by Shane Traharn, excuse me. As the clock continues to run, it'll tick under 3.5 to play here in the fourth quarter. Third and 15, ball spotted at the Heidelberg 7-yard line. They go with a 4 wide receiver set. Jaron Curtis in at running back. Traharn trying to get out of trouble. Scrambling. Now the ball is loose. It's recovered by Capitol. It'll be recovered at the 2-yard line.
You got to scoop and score that. That's an opportunity to scoop and score defense, but we'll take the possession.
Absolutely. 2:59 to play in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg 44, Capitol 23, but Capitol has a chance here at another score before this is all said and done.
That's from that young man right there, Jesse Foster.
Boy, what a big player he's been today. Very much looking forward to seeing what he will bring to the table for Capitol next season. I think he has a chance to be a real force for this Comets defense. In the meantime, Capitol has a chance to, add to the scoreboard here. What you could try to do is get a touchdown, try to recover an onside kick. You never know.
You never know. In fact, indeed.
So now, Brayton Schmidt and that Capitol offense will come out onto the field. And how about this? Schmidt, the senior, with another chance to throw another touchdown pass. Instead, he'll give off to Jonathan Williams, and Williams will go into the end zone for a touchdown.
This time he'll get in the end zone this time.
Good to see Williams get into the end zone here on senior day. It's now 44-29. Favor of Heidelberg with the extra point pending.
Not too late. You made this PAT here. It's still a 2-possession game. Onside kick.
Tyler Terrell trying to make this a 14-point lead for Heidelberg. And I would think that he would, well, actually, no. Eric Noble's on for the point after. Interesting. Snap back, goal down. Kick is on the way. It's up. And it's good. So now you would think that Capitol would go with the onside kick here. I think you kind of have to.
Back within the 2-possession game, and you use majority of your timeouts. You only got 1 timeout remaining. So if you want any chance to try to come back in this onside kick right here. .255 to play in the fourth quarter.
Capital down by 14. Boy, don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but man, can you imagine coming back from a deficit like this?
Never say never.
I know. Hey, last week, Heidelberg got a 13-0 lead heading into the fourth quarter. Ended up losing that game in overtime to Baldwin Wallace.
Miracles happen in football. Today could be the day.
So Eric Noble and the kick team will come back onto the field. And I know for a fact that this is going to be an onside kick because you got Sam Pickett out there, E.J. Ormond, sophomore wide receiver. The hands team is definitely out there. It'll be very interesting to see if Noble what he'll do with this kick. Will he pop it up in the air? Will he try to send a bouncer up the middle? Let's see what the senior from London, Ohio can do in this spot. Whistle. And a timeout taken by Capital.
If you already knew you was going from onside kick, you just can't have those kind of mental mistakes here on the special team side here.
And Coach Foos is showing one of his players where he would want them to line up at the 30-yard line. 2:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg 44, Capital 30. So take two on the onside kick attempt here for Noble. Noble kicks it. It's a high bouncer. It was recovered. It's recovered by Capital. The man who recovered it was Bennett Zerby. And now, boy, there's some confusion here. Did the ball travel far enough?
I believe it looked like Wiggins got it 1 yard shy before it hit that 10-yard mark.
Oh, give me a break.
Because he caught it in midair.
Oh, that will go down as illegal touching, giving the ball to Heidelberg.
If it just had one more bounce on there and then he was able to pop up and get it, that'd be Capital's ball right there, but just a yard shy.
Wow. So now 2:55 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Heidelberg in this spot will just look to run the clock out. In a tailback is Jaron Curtis. Shank Traharn in at quarterback, and now a flag is thrown. False start.
False start. Number 76 for the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty will go against James Sweat, graduate senior out of Lucas, Ohio. He's the big old right tackle on that offensive line for Heidelberg. So now it's 1st and 15. Ball spotted at the Capital 49. Traharn takes the snap. He'll hand to Curtis. Curtis looking for some running room. Gets out of a tackle to the 40, to the 35, and finally driven out of bounds around the 32.
Might be coming back or blocking the back.
A flag thrown back at the 42. So this will back things up for Heidelberg. 2:49 to play in the fourth quarter. Heidelberg up 44-30. And the clock will restart here. It's running. 2:45 and counting. Curtis still in at running back. Traharn takes the snap. He'll hand to Curtis. Curtis, midfield, little spin move into Capital territory, down to the Capital 46. This will take the clock under 2 minutes to go. 47-yard line is where the ball is spotted. Second down and 13 upcoming here for Heidelberg. Change for Harn with the play in hand. 3 wide receivers set, but everybody in the stadium knows this will be a run play as they give it to Curtis. Curtis upended around the 46. Minute and a half and counting.
It's third down.
So Heidelberg will probably try to go with one more run play here. This will take it down under a minute as they are really working that play clock. Traharn takes the snap. He'll hand to Curtis once again. Curtis finding some running room inside the 40 down to about the 39-yard line. There's going to be about 14, 15 seconds to go on the clock by the time they get to the end of the play clock here. Heidelberg can sense another win to end their 2022 campaign. They will finish 7-3 overall, 6-3 in OAC play. Meantime, for Capital, harsh reality sets in. They will end up finishing the season 0-10 overall and 0-9 with an OAC play. Curtis with the run. Around the end, he will pick up the first down, and that is going to be it for this game. It was a competitive game in the first half, but ultimately Heidelberg will come away with the win. The final score will be Heidelberg 44, Capital 30. Jonathan, it was good working with you during these football games, and I look forward to seeing you during basketball season. All right, man?
You know, we'll turn up for hoop season.
Jonathan Brown will take you the rest of the way during the post-game show. Again, the final score, Heidelberg 44, Capital 30. This has been a presentation of Comets Football on athletics.capital.edu.
And we're back here at the Bernlohr Stadium for your final game report here. The final score here, Heidelberg 44, Capital 30. It was a tight matchup within the first half, and Heidelberg was able to pull away here late in the second half to end off their season and end off their season campaign. Heidelberg will end the season off at 7-3, and unfortunately, reality has hit in. 6-3 for Heidelberg. But the unfortunate reality for the Capital Comets, we have finished the season 0-10. It's actually the second time Capital has had a winless season in the last 3 years, excluding the COVID season, which was a shortened season. So we'll give you your recap, taking a look at team stats before we break down and look at how each team did. Moving the ball, both teams were close. Had a pair of 18 first downs for Heidelberg, 17 for Capital. Passing the ball, Heidelberg had over 164 yards passing. Capital had 191. But on the ground, it was a ground and pound matchup for Heidelberg and Capital. Both with close to 40 attempts. Heidelberg had one over with 41, and they ended up rushing the ball 178 times, while Capital rushed 116 times. Looking at that, the main thing to take away from both teams, looking at their stats here, is third down conversions. Heidelberg was only to successfully go 2 of 9 compared to Capital's 4 of 14. But both teams were able to go for it on fourth down, going 2 of 2 for Heidelberg and 3 of 4 for Capital. The real work was done inside the red zone, and Capital actually did a good job of being perfect with inside the red zone. Heidelberg went 3 of 4. Taking a look at Heidelberg, starting off with them. They were led by Drew Sims. Sims was their quarterback, and he went 10 of 19 on this afternoon with 164 yards passing with 1 touchdown. His longest throw was 54 yards, and that was to Demetrius Pinnock with 4 receptions, 60 yards, a touchdown. There were 2 receivers who had a touchdown from Drew Sims himself. He had one to Montavious Yerby. He had the 1 yard, the touchdown. He had 2 receptions for 70 yards. Oliver Kellen with a reception of his own with 18 yards, as well as Glenn Pearson with a reception and 10 yards of his own. But the real dirty work was done on the ground for Heidelberg. Heidelberg's Montavious Yerby with 27 rushing attempts with over 170 yards gained, and he had a hat trick of a day. 3 touchdowns on the ground, 4 in the air. Montavious Yerby has clearly surpassed 1,000 rushing yards on the season, and we'll have to wait for the statistics to see if he'll take the rushing title. It was between him and Brandon Agnew from Marietta. We'll see who will be taking the rushing title champ for OAC conference play with that. Looking ahead over at Capital, Trevor Harrison did a fine job today, going 14 of 29, 191 yards in the air with 3 touchdowns. His longest pass, a 50-yard reception. He had targeted Jamal Wiggins with 3 receptions, 98 yards with a touchdown of his own on halfback screen. Sam Pickett also with 2 receptions, 32 yards and a touchdown down on the left side earlier in the second half. And Aurelius Walter had 2 receptions and a touchdown as well. Not so bad move putting the ball up in the air. The Capital did a good job of kind of spacing the ball out, spreading it to as many receivers as they possibly could. In the run game, that's when it was a very big difference between Heidelberg and Capital. Capital's leading runner was Drew Engel with 13 rushing attempts, 41 rushing yards. His longest attempt was 12 yards. But both quarterbacks for Capital, Trevor Harrison, Ron, and Ben Everson, with about 30 apiece. Harrison, Ron with 31 yards rushing, and Everson with 35, and his longest being 26 yards was earlier in the second half. Jonathan Williams also had 10 rushing attempts as well as 18 yards gained and a rushing touchdown as well. Taking a look at defense as well, somebody to look for on the Capital side, Jesse Foster, a young man today, had a game today. He finished the game with 2 sacks. He had a forced fumble as well. Louis Horstein actually had a fumble recovery as well and was able to take that back, almost took it back to the crib. A phenomenal job on the defensive side for Capital. Taking a look at the defensive side for Heidelberg, a person to look at, Zachary Blackstone. He had himself an interception as well today. There were two defenders here on Heidelberg who were able to lead the game with a interception of their own. Like I said, Zachary Blackstone and number 7, that was Kingston Mubata, was able to get an interception of his own. Taking a look at what happened, just a recap of this game. Came in 0-0. Heidelberg was able to get things going. Started with a punt over the head. It was a miscommunication between the long snapper and our punter for Capital, which led to a safety for Heidelberg to put them up 2-0. Next thing you know, from a 1-yard touchdown reception pass, Trevor Harrison-Ron was able to find Aurelius Walters in for a touchdown to put Capital to 7-2 with the lead up. But Heidelberg was able to respond back with a 1-yard rush from Marcus Yerby. Able to make it a 97 game. And just like that, call and response, we went back and forth. Trevor Harrison-Ron was able to find Sam Pickett with a 22-yard pass down the field. Sam Pickett showing that white man can't jump, and he had some bounce, able to extend the lead to 14-9. But Marcus Yerby able to respond back, had a 6-yard rush touchdown, and that made it 16-14. And Capital was able to drive back down the field with about 1:39 left to get a field goal up. They make it a one-possession lead game. That was by Tyler Terrell, and that was 16-17. But unfortunately, before the half was over, Capital threw an interception, and that was an interception into the hands of Kingston Mutaba, and that was a 50-yard pick six, which gave Heidelberg the lead 23-17 moving forward. And from there and from that moment on, it just wasn't looking good for Capital, trying to get back into the swing of things. After that interception to start off the second half, Marcus Yerby with a 54-yard pass from Drew Sims, which led and extended the lead to 30-7. And then there was another touchdown as well from Heidelberg, which was able to get things rolling and moving from them. Capital was able to respond back late in the game. However, it just was not. The damage was already done. The damage was already done moving forward. After that Montavious Yerby reception from Drew Sims, next thing you know, Drew Sims had found his other receiver, Oliver Keller, which led to a touchdown, extending the lead to 37-23. Next thing you know, we were able to drive down the field. Harrison-Ron found Jamal Wiggins on a screen for a 50-yard touchdown, which was trying to bring it back in closer from a 14-point deficit, but Heidelberg put that final nail in the coffin with a run up the middle with Montavious Yerby to extend it to 44-29. And the last final score of the game was by Jonathan Williams, rushing it in the middle to make it 30-44, the final score on today. Wow. What a season indeed for OAC conference play. What a season for Capital. What a season overall. Football season is over here at Capital. Today was senior night, and we had 13 young seniors who will never put on another football pad or jersey ever again. And to their brothers in that locker room, that feeling, knowing that you'll never experience this again, is something. It is a unique experience, and as it made them better and stronger men. From this experience, they've created bonds that can't be broken with their brothers and friends and family for life here at Capital. Taking a look, let's see some other OAC conference play here to see how other teams are matching up. We noticed that John Carroll was able to handle business against Otterbein. 62-7 was the final score. Marietta handled their business over Muskegon, 38-23. And the final score, it was a close matchup between Mount Union and Baldwin Wallace. However, Mount Union was able to escape with a 23-21 win. And right now in the fourth quarter, with about 13 minutes to remain, Wilmington is down Ohio Northern 13-14. Like I said, we already mentioned that our women's soccer team as well was competing earlier in Cleveland, Ohio in the NCAA tournament, and they fell short today. A 1-0 was the final score at Ithaca, and our women's soccer team with a phenomenal season fell short at the OAC championship game and fell short in the tournament, but a phenomenal season for our women's soccer team. Taking a look at some NCAA Division I scores before you all head out here. Purdue is up on Illinois, ranked 21, heading into the fourth quarter. It is 28-21. Taking a look, Nebraska and Michigan has just kicked off. So as Alabama and Ole Miss. Number 10, Clemson is up on Louisville. They are hosting them. It is 7-0. Penn State, number 14, is up against Maryland, 7-0. Number 16, North Carolina State is up on Boston College. And ranked number 22 against number 17, Tulane. UCF is up on Tulane, 3-0. The game of the night to watch is number 25, Washington versus number 6, Oregon. As a game tonight, as well as number 4, TCU versus number 18, Texas. Both of those are in matchups, in conference matchups. Wow. What to take away from this game, this season in whole. Reality has hit for Capital. Finish the season winless. It's not the first time that we have done this here in school history, but hopefully this will be the last time that we do this. And Coach Foos and the program here, they know what they have to do in their last final this upcoming off season here. You just got to recruit and find the right pieces moving forward. What a season. To all the seniors out there who have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program for the last 4 years, thank you. I know that isn't enough for all the time and effort that you put in here, but hopefully you have left here better men than the way you came into this locker room. So thank you for all the time. If you don't have it, if you see them, give those young men their flowers, because they definitely had earned them indeed. Not really anything closing remarks, anything else that I have to say here. It's not what we want to expect here on this transition, as the weather has fully accepted in Ohio. We have transitioned to this winter weather, a little cold. Saw some flurries up here, but there are brighter days to come here. And as we transition into the next sport tonight, if you tune in on some more sports here, Capital Action, tonight is our women's basketball home opener tonight. You don't want to miss that. New coach for the women's basketball team under the helm, and hopefully they can start the season on the right note, 1-0. And next week will be the men's basketball home opener. Basketball season is upon us. Soccer is coming to a close. Basketball season is getting ready to get going. Indoor track season. Got to shout out my track team is getting ready to get rolling. We have an alumni meet December 3rd. We had our cross-country team actually compete today in the NCAA tournament earlier this afternoon. Hopefully they did well competing with that. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it here. It's been a pleasure and been an honor to call you all this whole season along with my companion Charlie. Man, what a time to be alive. Shout out Drake. Our final score here at Bernlohr Stadium, Heidelberg 44, Capital 30. I'm Jonathan Brown signing off here. It's been real. It's been good, folks. Keep pushing P. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace.